Well, hi everyone, and welcome back. It is what time is it now? It's 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock in the evening. How about that? It's Paul English Live 1-to-1. No, it's actually episode 1-to-1, but it's not really a 1-to-1, is it? I mean, we don't do that sort of thing. Anyway, hope you've had a cracking week. Welcome to the show. And we have the promise of additional guests rocking up tonight, but you never know with these sorts of things. But a couple of additional voices may be turning up this lovely Thursday evening. It's first sort of proper Thursday, isn't it, of 2026? Last week, New Year's Day. What do you do with that? Have a bit of fun, really. Maybe I should get a new song. I don't know. 121 episodes? Who knows? Anyway, good to have you all back, everybody. It's the good old Thursday evening. It's nice and dark and gloomy and wet here. I have a wonderful adventure now getting into the radio shed. Normally, I used to just open the door and come into it, you see. And I still do that. But I now have to go through extra doors because my back door, the back door of the house, which I used to come out of, is hanging by one hinge. By just the mere hinge, a big, fat, juicy hinge it is. And so what I have to do now is, I don't know why I'm laughing. It's not really that funny. I actually come out of the front door, close the front door, then go around the side, go through a side door, then come in again and then get through the radio shed door. It's quite elaborate. But I'm always giggling when I'm doing it because I'm sad, obviously, and of a certain age, because it's kind of weird to do something like that. And I'm sure the neighbours see me walking outside with a cup of tea, going, what's he doing? What's he doing walking around the house? Anyway, it's, the actual solution is for me to get the back door repaired, but I can't be bothered at the moment. This is far too much fun. Somebody who probably is not having too much trouble with his doors is Eric von Eric von Essex. Eric, good evening. Welcome
Greetings.
to the show. How are you? Greetings.
Eric's von Sussex, actually. No, with my doors, it's just an open and shut case. But judging by the weather, your door may not be there by tomorrow morning. If it's true what they say, we're going to have 100-mile-an-hour winds.
Are we?
So there we go. That's really what they said. Yes, that's what those nice people at the Met Office said. But they sort of over-exaggerate things, don't they? Because I've noticed them doing that all the time now since that bloke said that there's not going to be a gal when there was.
Oh, yeah. What, you mean the 1987 thing? Wasn't that?
Yeah, that's right. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I know when that happened. By the way, I've had my Aunt Sally says she says the song, because I was just commenting about the song. She says it's your trademark song. I know I'll probably get done on the trademarks actually, Aunt Sally, at some point. I've got to watch it. And she says, although cheesy, good grief, I've only been going a minute. Do you find it cheesy? Is it a bit cheesy? What do you think? No, come on, seriously, tell me. Do you find it cheesy? Come on.
I like it, actually. It's a nice radio sort of starter. It's a bit of a haunter. It sticks like chewing gum to your brain. So you're hearing dun 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 dun. That's it. But I like
cheese, though. Copyright. I like cheese.
Yes,
it's not elevator music, is it? It's not. I was thinking about elevator music the other day. I thought, when they play it and it actually goes, don't you think we are in a position to actually charge for that? I mean, it's sort of, my ears are having to be used to listen to audio puke. It's wrong, isn't it? Can't we sort of, get paid for having to listen to it?
Well, Spike Milligan had an organisation or I don't know if it's a charity or what it was, but it was called Pipe Down. And he was against piped music. And I'm against pipe music. And it's awful because always elevator music. But my uncle, you see, I think he kind of liked pipe music because he had an LP of the Swingle Singers. Now, do you remember the Swingle Singers?
The Shingle Swingers. I think the Shingle Swingers. The Shingle Swingers are quite interesting. They're all very uncomfortable. They don't look too good.
But no. When I was a little kid, we went round to see my uncle, and we heard both sides of the LP. And, it was so non-delightful.
I like that
like
singing
torture.
That singing by you there, is excellent. Maybe we could use that for a jingle sometime. You need to get that as your theme song. That's how it needs to start.
Well, it's funny you should say that because I've YouTube has said I've been a naughty boy because I've been I've been playing something that's copyright anyway. So I thought, what's the names to that now? Patrick, the intro tune of "Happy Days Are Here Again" on the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's done a lot of hard work and he's found out that it is out of copyright, the version I've got. So I haven't got anything with that. But we just showed a few little extracts from, excuse me swearing, but the BBC.
Steady on.
And I know I don't like mentioning the BBC. There might be children listening, and they did me for that. So what I'm thinking of doing is any sort of music in the future. I'm seriously thinking of just going on to that Audacity software and going like the Shingle Swingers.
I would. Eric Von Essex sings popular family hits. Come on, that is a winner. That's a winner. I might buy a copy, possibly, with a loan from the bank manager. That's good stuff. Yeah. I mean,
And,
actually, just zooming.
do you remember that?
Sorry, go on. Yeah.
Well, very quickly, do you remember the Goons record that said Peter Sellers sings Frank Sinatra? And you think, And you hear Peter Sellers go, Frank Sinatra, and then it just carries on with the record. Sorry.
Well, we could do a whole LP, an album of that
Yes.
stuff, couldn't we? Yeah.
Yes.
We could.
Eric Von Essex sings Engelbert Humperdinck. Engelbert Humperdinck. That was quite artistic, wasn't it?
It was. I thought that was really rather melodious, but then my ears are crammed with a bit too much wax these days. Do you know what? I thought of introducing you as Eric Von Essex. I thought that's the way I should start to. Yeah, it's quite important. So I'm just going to get the timing of the thing. I mean, it's sort of carry on radio around here, isn't it? Half the time, and no wrong with that. No.
I'm a big stink round my way, so remember that.
Well, you see, we're scraping the bottom barrel. We're only 9 minutes in. This is very bad. It's not an auspicious start, is it? You remember Michael Fish, though? You were talking about
yes.
The wind of 90. Was it 87? It was 87, wasn't it? I think it was.
I think it was 87. Yes.
I mean, some of our younger audience here won't even know what we're talking about. They weren't even born yet. Actually,
I was a young lad at the time.
Were you?
Well, not that young.
How old would you be if you were born in 1987 now? You'd be 38?
Yes.
That doesn't sound right to me.
No,
it seems a lot nearer to me, does
1987.
1987. Yeah.
No, it'd be 29.
No.
Or 28.
No, 30.
Hey?
Yeah.
Oh, 30. 39.
Yeah, it'd be 30 now.
Is it that far ago? Yes.
Yeah. They're getting close to retirement.
It blew a load of
age.
trees. That's right. Yeah. And it blew a load of trees down, though, didn't it?
It did, but the Michael Fish, someone's mentioned Michael Fish, so he was the weather. I quite liked Michael Fish, even though his surname was obviously a bit odd. But, although Fish is not far. In fact, actually, the family that used to live over us were also called Fish, so we called them the Fishes. And they did go to school. Sorry. I'm scraping even more bottoms of barrels here. But, Michael Fish's great weather forecast. And there's just going to be mild breezes tomorrow. That was at 6 o'clock on the news overnight. The thing that was interesting as well, the day afterwards, I had a sales appointment with Orbin, who was my line manager at the time. And we had to get into his Ford Fiesta and go to Sevenoaks in Kent. And when we got there, it was Five Oaks. It was gone.
Really?
Yeah, I remember driving through
there.
Kent. everything was just blown over. It was like, and we didn't think anything of it. We were just thinking about the appointment. Oh, there's this disaster. I'm not bothered about that. We've got to get some sales in. Who cares about that? It was very, it only sort of dawned on me afterwards that something possibly reasonably important had happened. But, anyway, Fish managed to retain his career, didn't he? He kept going as a weatherman.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's still alive. He's born in 1944, apparently. And well, I remember I worked at a place called Northaw, which is not that far from where I live. It's about 4 or 5 miles away. And it took me ages to get into work because all the trees falling over everywhere, here, there and everywhere. But I did get to work because I wanted the money. But no, it was quite a day. It was really... and do you remember those pictures in London of the London parks, all the trees all uprooted?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I'm pleased, though, that I wasn't the only person keen to get to work or do my day's work because of money. It affected you as well. Because it was the 80s.
Yes.
We were at the height of Thatcheritism. I mean, it was only a mild breeze. Yeah.
Money.
Oh, yes. But I was just swimming in it in the 80s. Were you, Eric? Were you just rolling in money? I was.
Not quite,
I've never been rolling in money. No. I wouldn't mind a good roll. I'd pay money to just go and roll around in some banknotes or something and just see what it's like.
Yes.
But no, it never reached. It was a weird thing. They said, oh, yeah, the 80s is the me thing. You remember that Harry Enfield character? Loads of money.
Loads of money. That's my cousin. That is my cousin to a T. Loads of money. And no, seriously, I have nothing to do with him, but he used to actually say, he said, because I'm considerably richer than you, he'd actually say to your face, well, I've got a better car than you because, I know you speak like that, I've got a better car than you because I earn more money. I thought, how does he know?
Yeah, the fact that it's even important.
Yes.
It's just amazing. Yes. Right. Well, good. This is good. Are you happy? Yeah, great. This is really good then. Yeah.
He used to write Christmas cards with telling you all the marvellous things he's done in the year and how much money he's got. And he said, we went to the Bahamas for our holidays, as you do like, and we went to Paris shopping. Why do we need to know that? So I actually sent one back and I said, well, I went to Bognor Regis, as you do, and... I just took the wee. Yes, and as I say, I haven't seen him for 15, 16 years, and I couldn't care less, really. He spoke the same language, but on a totally different wavelength to me. But no, he was... I think he had an inferiority complex, so he believed that money gave him some form of superiority. And that's the way he was. Yeah,
right, it does, doesn't it? The more money you've got, the happier you are. Apparently,
yes.
So it says.
Well, as Spike Milligan said, what is it now? It's nicer to be miserable with money than without it. So yes, and I think he also said having money is the ability to be rude to people and get away with it. That was
maybe.
I think it's Peter Sellers.
Yeah,
I've always said that money can't buy happiness, but it can help you to afford the kind of misery you can live with.
Precisely. That's a good one. That's a brilliant one. Yes.
And Paul, don't worry about it. You made a comment about scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Yes.
You are entitled. Nobody's going to call you out on it because at the beginning of the show, you literally divulged that you are coming unhinged. So what else could we expect?
It's true. If I tell you, the door broke. This is so ridiculous, right? It's been on one hinge for about 17 years. I'm serious. I'm just working it out. And it should have been repaired 17 years ago. And it's an aluminium frame. And I think the one hinge that is doing all the work has become work hardened, and what a hinge it is. It's done the work of 2 hinges for all that time. I've got to have the whole of my back end taken out, Eric. So all the window and the doors, it's all got to come out. Yeah, so that,
as long as it doesn't, as long as it doesn't lead to your back passage.
No, it's not. It's so that the back gate can swing open freely and everything's nice and proper. That's what we need. So lots of fun work in the spring to do. That'll be good. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Any news? Have you spotted anything? There's some Venezuelan nonsense going around, but everybody else is talking about it. Actually, that was happening. Was that happening last? No, it happened after last week's show, didn't it? When did it happen? 3rd of January, was it, or something? I don't know.
I think so, but I think I can just imagine this sort of effeminate producer, because to me it was like a kind of play. Was it? Okay, lovey, stand there. Now we're going to arrest the president. Ready, action. You know, I mean, it just looks so.
How did you know I use an effeminate producer? How did you find that? How did you find that?
Well, it's funny. Probably have someone knocking on the door tomorrow. So how do you know that? But Mark Anthony said in chat, he said, "Who remembers the yuppies in the 1980s always flushing their money around?" Yeah, that's my cousin. But
it was lost on me. I was just too busy working. Apparently, that was you look back on these things and go, well, that's the culture that you were in, right, Margaret? I'm going, I don't know. I can't remember any of it, to be quite honest. I was just working all the time and doing stuff.
Yeah. Every file of facts.
Remember. Yeah.
I had a file of facts, but I had a cheap one.
I've still got mine.
File of facts?
They're nicer file of faxes. They're actually quite interesting. As part of I haven't really thought about going back to one in terms of enhancing my analog life. I'm basically analog. By disposition, and I love digital, but I'm kind of stopping loving it, and now it's a bit too much digital for me. I don't dig it anymore. I don't dig digital anymore to the degree I used to, because it's all getting slightly overpowering and tiresome, really. Although I did see something really. I'm going to contradict myself now, but it won't be the first time, won't be the last. I was telling Paul about this the other day, actually. I still haven't had a chance to sort of play with it or look at it. But have you ever built a website, Eric? Have you ever, people out there may have done this thing. You ever put one together?
Yes.
So they can be a lot of fun if you're into it. And I have been into it for years, but I'm kind of not into it anymore because I've just sort of fed up of looking at it and fiddling around with plugins and all this kind of stuff. I thought, really, could I be using my time a bit better? I'd be better off just reading poetry and speaking soliloquies out on the heath, really. It's more in keeping with my mood these days. But there's a thing called Base 44. There's more than one. These are sort of AI website builders or app builders.
Really?
Yeah.
And they're do with that because I'm rebuilding the Fuck 'em All website. I was going around like a dog chasing its tail yesterday.
Well, we'll have to have a talk outside of broadcasting hours about it because it's quite appealing.
Yes.
Anyway, I ended up Mark, the bowler hat farmer, put me in touch with a chap called Scott. And this is all to do with getting ready for FFT radio, Food for Thought radio, which is motoring along and tiring me out. I can tell you, it's good to get behind the microphone today, because I've just been on the phone like in the old days. I've had the phone stuck to my lug hole, calling people, having a blast of a time, by the way. But when you're on sort of several 1.5 hour phone calls, you go, I'm a bit out of gas, actually. I've forgotten what it's like. Because we used to spend, when I was in my 20s, back in yuppie time, I was on the phone 6.5, 7 hours a day. I did that for 2 years. And this is why I can just talk and talk and talk and just can't stop. We go on and on and on, shut up, and all that kind of stuff. No, it's part of it. It's quite knackering. Anybody out there that's ever done that sort of thing, and I wasn't hassling consumers at home, everybody, so you can all calm down. We were hassling finance directors, which is good sport and what it's all supposed to be about. But what was the point I was going to make? I can't remember. Oh, yeah. So in the 70s, so this thing about yuppies and all that kind of stuff. And then I'll come back to Base 44. Just say Base 44 to me. There was a thing about the 80s I wanted to mention.
Base 44.
Yeah, about not feeling like a yuppie was when we were working away on the phones and stuff, for about a month, some city boys, all their phone lines had been cut. So I was working in this big sort of telephone marketing company. We had 320 telephone lines. 320. You remember you had to pay line rental for them back then, right?
Yes.
So this is all pre-internet. This is mid to late 80s, okay? So everything's running on telephones and fax machines. I can't remember what the telephone bill was, but it was absolutely colossal. Of course, it was paid for by the clients because they were paying for us, but it was still, that's a bit of a phone bill, is that? And there's just wires everywhere. Anyway, they'd lost all their telephone connections. So for about a month, about 20 of these guys wanted, because we had loads of spare capacity, they sort of rented a room and we put 40 lines in for them or something because they were just lying around. We just ran cables down into this room. And they were there for a month, and they really were yuppies. I thought, oh. And they were all really public schoolboy, stockbroker, share. They were selling shares and buying shares. That's what they were kind of doing, and bending the ear of all these people at the other end of the fund. They were very different to me, I can tell you. I was still a bit of a northern Herbert, even though I'd been in London for about 3 years by then. And they were very, very different. I can't say I warmed to them. Let's put it mildly. Also, as another bit of infamy, do you remember the Guinness scandal with, what's his name? Ernest Saunders and his double entendres. Do you remember that? The Guinness scandal.
Yes. Yes.
So for those of you who are very, very young, there was this big share scandal thing. There was, I think Ronson was involved as well. There was a buyout of Guinness, or Guinness was buying out Allied Brewery. I can't remember the name of the companies anyway. And so they came and employed us, the whole company, to call up all of these shareholders, see if they'd swap 2 shares for 1 or whatever it was, okay? And that was quite a big deal. We didn't know at the time that he was going to turn out to be one of the biggest crooks in British business history. And the whole gang of them, by the way. They were all in our offices. I remember they all swanned in their big coats and everything. They looked quite sort of okay. I wouldn't have been able to tell you, at the time. But we had about 140 people on the phone all at once in this room. It was absolutely, it was louder than the stock exchange. It was great, actually. It was a great buzz. We had to do it on an evening from sort of like 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, sort of bend these poor people's ears. But we did it in a very charming way. We were very, very nice. Of course, they were successful, and then they were successfully found out to have been cheating like hell. So just shows, just shows.
Like Robert Maxwell. The mystery
similar sort of
Robert
thing.
Maxwell.
Yeah, and Saunders is from the same tribe, just, not to put too fine a point on it, as is Ronson. So it was a share scam. That's really what it was. We didn't know. We were just employed to actually call them up and speak to them. It was a very polite sort of call. We just had to take them through this prospectus that they'd received in the mail. And do you want to do it? Yes or no? We just made it all up and they went, great, we're going to get it. And they did. They got whatever it was that they wanted. But then they got prison time, I think, as well, which they probably deserved. I think they got prison time. But Saunders is out and about doing things. I don't know what he does. Not that I care, but... anyway, Base 44. Look, I went off on a big tangent back into the 80s. I can't keep my mind straight tonight. Base 44. I'll have to show it to you because this website that I was looking at the other day was built in 30 minutes by a bit of AI. And it's
I spent a couple of hours yesterday.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't get it right. I just don't know what it was. So that sounds fantastic.
Well, it is. I tell you, just in looking at it as well and then thinking about it, not just even that, but what it did and what's going to be happening, no one's safe. That's my fear porn for tonight. We're not safe, It is going to take over. We're doomed, lads. It's very doomed. We are. I mean, sort of like website administration, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, kiss that goodbye. A lot of it's just going to disappear. These machines can and so the thing about it is, obviously, when you go in, anybody out there that builds a website and has to put code in and all that kind of stuff, you need to know a little bit about what you're doing. It's not super complicated. You can build up a sort of basic skill set over several years of bodging. I'm just a bodger. That's all I do. I bodge around with it. But it's actually time consuming and it makes your brain operate a certain way. And then when you stop doing it, you can't sort of see straight. It's about like, you have to go and have a cup of tea to sort of get straightened out again. This thing's just going to do the lot. And I was talking to Scott about this and he said, well, it's not a website that you're looking at. It's an actual app. It's a full bit of software. I said, okay, trying to work that out. And then I got it. And so I said, if we asked it to build an app for Android and for iPhone, will it do it? It said, yeah. I said, and the way that you tell it to do it, you just type the sentences into a box about what you want. It goes, hang on. And it goes off and gets it for you. And it's quite a thing, actually. I just thought, oh. So what it would mean, like even say if you actually want to get to grips with the Fockham Hall website, you have to pay for this thing. It's about $40 a month, but they do the hosting. You're probably already put off by the price. But the amount of time it's going to save you, you have to add it up. I only have to do is go and talk to this thing every now and again. And it's all sort of fully automated back end. So if you want to collect email addresses and everything, it just does everything. Everything. You don't have to go off and buy anything else. It's amazing.
Because I'm using Serif Web Plus, which is years out of date, but it's a bloody good bit of software. And Serif, I think they're still going, but I don't think they do sort of what they used to do. They used to buy software in, and it would be like, I don't know, from some other country. Then they would translate it to English, I think. And it was a really good firm. And they're up in Nottingham, I think. I don't know if they're still going, but my Web Plus is about 20 years old. But it's still,
Right.
it's a bit old, but the software still works. It's really good. But it's showing its age a bit now. After 20 years, I think it would do. That's what I did my websites on, you know. But it's very time consuming. That's the trouble.
That's it, really. And I'm just going, as one reaches one's seasoned years, Eric, as you might well know, as your innings develops and it's getting possibly towards, still quite a way to go, but as you're right in the middle of your hearty innings, time becomes way more valuable than money. It just does, actually. It has done for me. I'm not going to miss not having any money because I've never had any. What's that thing? On my tombstone, what's that thing? I started off with nothing and I've still got most of it left. That's what you put on your tombstone.
Yes, that's right.
He started off with nothing and he had most of it left. And I think
also,
it's...
health is wealth. That's another one, isn't it? Health is wealth. And I think that's true. If you're healthy, then that's wealth.
It's kind of corny, isn't it, in a way, but it is true. It's a bit like, those old gimmers talking about things. I've got that, but someone said to me, Lily, over in Idaho, said, you might have a lot of problems, but once your health goes, you've only got one. And it's just true. That's it, really. So it's all cheery, looking forward to the future stuff, everybody, right now. Shout out, anyway, to everybody in YouTube and Rumble. It's great to have you with us. I don't know if any of you were around on Tuesday. I had a lovely little couple of hours with Sven Longshanks on Tuesday evening. That was...
I heard it.
Did
Good.
you? Yeah, it was...
Yes.
It was really refreshing. It absolutely flew by. And we got at the end of the second hour going... I was speaking to Patrick afterwards, and he said, you need to do 3 hours all the time. I'm going, do we? By the way, shout out to everybody. Do we need to do 3 hours? I'm in a sort of questioning thing at the moment. I'm quite happy doing 3 hours, but I sometimes think it might be too bit of a long haul. 2 flew by. It really did. I mean, have you done any... I mean, this is show 121, and it isn't a 121. We're a group ensemble pub, yelling contest in here, which is great. But just doing one-on-one, it was great. I really enjoyed it. It's a different way of sort of thinking. You get slightly more thinking time, so I wouldn't mind doing more sort of Tuesdays. If I'm going to do a guest, I might sort of do 2-hour slots on Tuesday evenings if it ends up being Tuesday or whatever. There's a lot of changes coming to this space, I think. Not that I'm planning to stop Thursdays or anything like that, not at the moment, but the project with Mark, the bowler hat farmer, as I just mentioned a few minutes ago, it's flying. I've been speaking to some really tremendous people, just like the tremendous people here in the chats and the listeners out there, people who are concerned, all sorts of different levels and some very deep. I had a lovely conversation. I'm not going to name anybody yet because we don't know who's going to go in, but I had a great conversation with a lady today. And we got talking. It's quite funny, actually, because she had to sort of end the call. She realised she needed to be doing something else. But she was really good, really on the ball. And she said, well, I've been fighting against the government since the 1990s. And I went, hello, I'm in that same space. Hello. Because one of the comments that came up, and I don't know what the sort of makeup is of you here in the chats and everything. Those of you who've been round a bit, looking at the plight of our people, let's just call it that, will be aware, we touch upon it here regularly, and we should, of what happened with the COVID thing. Because suddenly huge numbers of people who didn't know that there were things to question their attitude changed. I don't mean their knowledge base changed overnight. Nobody can do that. But their attitude changed in terms of wanting to inquire into stuff. And that's why there's been a kind of change. In other words, some of the issues that I might have considered soft 10 or 12 years ago, I lower down the rung of concerns. They're actually primary concerns, and they're really important because they affect people literally in their day-to-day living. And I think it's almost like, what's that old adage? If you look after the pennies, the pounds will take care of themselves. There actually aren't any little issues. They're all symptoms of this bigger one. And if you sort of address them and get involved in conversations with people like this, it's great. So I've had some really fantastic. Mark just keeps sending me 3 or 4 people a day. I've just been on the phone solid for about 2 days. It's great. I'm not moaning, but I've had a different sort of day and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just letting you know. So there's a lot of plans for that to go live. It's Mark's birthday on Sunday. This is the Bowler Hat Farmer, Sunday, the 25th of January. So the station is due to start on the Monday morning. I'm putting it out here to put us on edge so that we so that we miss the deadline. But I think Monday morning, the 26th of January, the thing's due to go live. And if what's happening so far is any indication, it won't be a full schedule. It will be a kind of skeleton schedule, but it might not be as skeleton-y as I'm currently thinking, because so many people are coming forward who know what they're doing and want to be just sort of connected into the space. So we're all going to have to improve our shows, everybody. There's going to be a bit of competition around here.
So that's what, that's Monday the 26th. So
Monday the 26th, I think 10 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, you better be up and about, because I think everybody that's connected or has volunteered to do stuff, and they're still coming in, so I don't know quite what it'll look like when we get there. But I'm aiming to sort of have an opening 3-hour slot from 10 in the morning till 1. This is useless if you're in the States. I'm sorry about that. Well, unless you get up in the morning, you can't sleep. It'd be 5 a.m. US Eastern. But we'll probably get replays in later on in the day. I don't want to big it up too much, even though I can't help it, and I'm doing it a bit because I am enthusiastic about it. But I want to try and get everybody in that's connected in whatever capacity to just get behind the mic for a bit and say hi. And this is going to be a right old mess. And that's its appeal. It's going to be a wonderfully sort of very loose space to start off with. It really will be. So, and if anybody out there is really skilled in scheduling and all that kind of stuff, and what I mean by that is, what kinds of programs do you put on in the morning? Have you ever done morning radio shows, Eric? We never do them, do we? You ever done one?
No, I don't think. No, I've never done it. Hang on. Yes, I did go on to a couple of morning radio shows. This was, I'm sorry to say this, with local radio, and that was 20 plus years ago. But that was very different then. And yes, well, I don't know, at that time in the morning on local radio, I think it's only one bloke and his dog listening in. So I don't think so.
Yep.
And 3 o'clock in the afternoon is the dead time. If you want to go on local radio at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they'll get anybody in. There's no one listening.
I'll have that.
Yeah.
No, whatever. I've never done one ever. I've done recordings in the morning, but of course we've tailor-made to some degree to go on at this time slot. Obviously, I mean, maybe it's the right thing for us here in the UK. Most of the people we assume are still working. Come on, we know you're all going out and doing 9 till 5 jobs and loving it, and therefore they get back, eat a delightful supper in the company of their family or whatever you do. And then tune into something, possibly, or, go audio or video grazing, and here we are. But also, we end up going out, really, I mean, as we know, we're in the graveyard shift, really, therefore, Eric, in US Eastern time, because it's just gone 3 p.m., it's 3:30 in the afternoon, So, wake up, you lot in America.
Wake up.
Oh, they're going to be waking up later this year and giving us hell, aren't they, for 4th of July? It's going to be terrible. When is the 4th of July? I wonder if my show falls on the 4th of July. I'll find out.
Just one moment. I'll look it up as we speak. Let's have a look. 4th of July. No, it's actually on a Saturday.
It is
Saturday this year.
Phew. Yes. Well, we'll have to talk about it on the 2nd of July, I suppose, or maybe we'll talk about the aftermath afterwards. Yeah.
Or unless America can move it to the 5th of July, and then I can do it on the Sunday show, can't I?
Well, they're probably invading someone by then, Eric. There's probably another country to invade. Yes. I was wondering why they don't invade England.
Greenland's next.
What? Is it really? Oh, yeah.
Yes,
didn't Keir Starmer said you can't, and everybody just... I saw some pathetic headline with that dweeb saying something like, you can't do it because it's not in the international law book or something. I mean...
Yes.
Ugh.
But
and what
mind
people
you...
think, Sorry.
The American military are actually shaking with fear now that Keir Starmer said that, because when you think about it, our one unit could, stop the Americans going into Greenland. I don't think.
It's
But
all
did you
theatre,
know-
isn't it? It's all completely.
It is.
The whole
It is.
thing is just barking mad.
It
What
is
have they called?
the shit
What have
of
they
the
called
bull.
Venezuela? Have they called it regime change? Have they? I'm assuming they have. Is that what they've called it?
Probably is. No, because I used to say they're bringing in democracy, didn't they? That was a usual thing.
Yeah.
People are going to have their democratic right. But the next one they reckon on the list is Cuba. Now, is Cuba part of the banking brigade, the central banks? I don't think it is it? So Cuba's next on the list to be to go over to the central bank.
Is it really?
So
Is
there
there
we
still
go.
a few left? Is there? The ring of
Yes.
power, as
Yeah.
I call it, the ring of central banks spreading darkness across the globe. I mean, the flat Earth. I
Yeah.
mean, whatever you think it is, I don't mind. I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to upset anybody. It is. It's like a dark cloud of imperceived gloom. People don't realise they're living in it, do they?
Yes.
It was interesting with Sven on Tuesday because I didn't know quite what we were going to talk about, but he got quite into the whole banking thing during the last half hour, which is. It's great. I always get quite refreshed by it. I know you hear us talk about it quite a bit. We've not done a sort of big, deep dive into it recently. I'm always happy to do that kind of thing. But I think the message is getting out there. What's interesting as well is that it's like people are observing. Maybe I just believe this and it's not true. You guys out there would know just as much as I would. I just get this sense that people have finally developed a sort of bit of radar that says the whole system's wrong. I think that's going on with people. The whole thing is completely way past its sell-by date. It's prehistoric, the way that we're, managed, governed, enslaved, ruled. It just is. Don't you think? I think it is.
I agree with you. I mean, I was looking at a YouTube video. I actually posted it up on the site. Where they talk about Tartaria. Well, I'm not too sure whether Tartaria existed or not. Or I don't really go into that. But a chap's looking through records, and up to I think it was about the mid 19th century, the people that built these beautiful cathedrals and beautiful, buildings around the world, they couldn't find anywhere in their records where salaries were paid. And they found out that salaries weren't paid, but it wasn't slavery. It was being a member of a guild, which was a very highly thing to become a member of.
Mm-hmm.
And you get everything found, clothing, food, everything. And as you went up, get more and more skilled, and you put your life and your absolute love of the craft that you did into it, you got a bigger and better house, and you got better stuff.
I
And
like
so
that
the
already. Don't you
master-
like that? I
Yeah,
like that.
and they
It's better
outlawed
than
it
this.
in.
Yeah.
Well, they outlawed it. I think it's in the I could be wrong on this, but 1870s, and they noticed that the quality of workmanship dropped like a stone because they said that everybody's got to be waged, because it wasn't slavery. You could leave it if you wanted to, but you belonged to this guild, and the people did it for the love of the job, and and to show off their skill. And they just went up years and years and years, gradually developing their skills. So they got right to the top of their skill, where you see these beautiful carvings and all things like that. And that's it. Yeah, sorry, you're going to say, Paul.
No, I'm glad you brought up that word guild. I think we've talked about them before. I probably did a show about it at some point in the run, because one of my favourite authors, or one that I cite a few times, haven't done for ages now that I'm thinking about him, is Hilaire Belloc. And Belloc with Chesterton wrote a great deal, particularly Belloc did, about guilds. I'm sure we've done this. And they act as a defence against the erosion of crap workmanship, which is what you're talking about. And this is,
That's right.
like my brother-in-law, even now, I spoke to him the other day, he said, have you been to Hampton Court yet and seen that brickwork? And I'm going, well, I used to live there, but I hadn't gone up and really looked at it. But, the brickwork at Hampton Court Chimneys is amazing. It's, 500 years old, this thing? Something like that.
That's right.
And why is it that, when I talk to you about it, or whatever, we talk to people about these things, we all of us, I just think we feel better about it, don't we? I do. I have a warm feeling about it. I go, that's good, that. And it's like in the quality of what they did, they're sort of present in a way. You're sort of going, this is really good. So guilds are a solution. I mean, I suppose in the modern digital age, it couldn't possibly be allowed. But this is why this whole thing has got to go down the toilet to some degree, and I think it will. I just don't know how. I don't think anybody does. I just feel that nature won't allow it. I mean, communism is of course about creating equality, but that means making everything equally crap, doesn't it? Like all the buildings are equal.
I
yeah, they're all crap. You're
But-
right. You've got
but-
them all. You've got them equal.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate that they're all crap at the same time. We don't want them.
Well, the bowler hat farmer, his relative, sadly the man that died, he had a half-scale steam engine built, which was like a farm tractor. And I could kick myself when I went to see bowler hat farmer. I didn't go over and speak to his relative because I love steam. And I was so busy talking to people, I meant to go over, but I realised I had to get home, and I didn't have a chance to speak to him because he'd made this beautiful traction. It was a steam engine. And when you look at stuff from the Victorian times, pocket watches, beautiful works of art. And they found out how to mass produce beautiful works of art. And you've only got to look at things like look at the lamp standards along the Thames embankment of those like dolphin type creatures. They were all mass produced, but they look like a beautiful work of art. Look at Tower Bridge, work of art. Steam engines, fantastic. Look how artistic they are. Now look at the crap that's around it. Excuse my language. It's horrendous. Go to the city of London. It's horrible, the buildings. All these glass buildings. Vile. What's happened? Why can't they build beautiful buildings anymore?
Democracy has happened, Eric. That's what's happened.
Yeah, you're right. But people must have loved doing the work that they did to produce such beautiful, accurate work. If they were paid 9 till 5, they think, "Oh, sod this, I'm off at 5, and that's it. I'll just rush this bit off, and I'll get paid for it." And this is where you got piecework, and the council used to pay apparently on the council estates people like painters, but they got paid on how many doors they painted in a day. And I knew somebody that worked for the local council in the 70s or 60s, and he said that people came home from work and they couldn't open their doors because they'd actually painted right the way round, did it so quick, the paint had dried, it was a summer's day, and they couldn't open their doors because they were stuck fast because they did it so quickly. And that's where you got bodge work, all bodge,
Yep.
bodge. People didn't take pride. And that's the thing.
I guess it's an emphasis on where value lies. Of course, everybody's been monetized in the head, haven't they?
Yes.
They've been monetized in the head. I've got you've heard of Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, or Goethe, as I used to call him when I was a kid. You know Goethe, the German philosopher.
No.
I think it's pronounced Goethe, Goethe. Although I used to pronounce him Goethe.
Name rings a bell.
Yeah, but I'm from the north. Yeah,
His brother Fred Goethe, wasn't it? I don't know. Anyway, sorry.
yeah, and Bert Goethe, and all that kind of
Bert
stuff.
Goethe.
Here's a little quote
Yes.
from him, which is to do with sort of that sort of thing. I really like this. A man, that's you, everybody, unless you're a woman, but we'll include women too, a man or a woman. A man should hear a little music, read a little poetry, and see a great picture every day of his life, in order that worldly cares may not obliterate the sense of the beautiful which God has implanted in the human soul. I like that.
Isn't that nice?
It's fantastic.
And something else to bear in mind when I first started architecture, they said curvature is natural. There's very little in nature which is dead flat. All right, you could say a lake is dead flat, but there's very little. And did you know that Mickey Mouse, now it sounds a bit crude, but this is true, you know the nose of Mickey Mouse as it goes round? Do you know what that was based on? A woman's
No.
breast. Seriously, it's a woman's breast.
Well, steady on.
And that's why children go, "Oh, look, Mickey Mouse."
Hey, that makes
it started
complete
off with
sense.
Mortimer, Yeah, Mortimer Mouse it started, and then they changed it, and then they looked into the psychology of it, and they made that nose more curved, and then it became Mickey Mouse. That's that's what I learned umpteen years ago in architecture. But when you look at it, they found that when they cut trees down in areas, the crime rate goes up, and the amount of graffiti and things like that go up. And where you've got dead flat walls, concrete and things like that, you get more graffiti and more mental illness and more crime.
Yep. Isn't there something called the
statistical fact.
sympathetic nervous system or something? And straight lines, it doesn't like it because it associates straight lines on a subliminal level with danger, like sharp edges, like teeth. Seriously,
right.
it's like embedded right in your bones. This thing from gazillions of years, or 35 years, or however long we've been around. Yeah. Absolutely, and they know what they're doing.
In the 80s,
they know what they're doing in having buildings like this, and then they get all these, people that write words, and you don't need any words. You just stand in front of these buildings and go, "I don't want to stand in front of it anymore." Why? Because it's crap, mate.
That's right. I'll tell you
I'm
something
not
else
going to
they
spend
found.
5 hours reading your eulogy of all the influences and this, that, and the other, and it makes you feel like this. It's complete horseshit. It's a piece of junk.
Yes,
we know this.
Erno Goldfinger. Some people say he was an architect. But what they found in the 70s and 80s, do you remember they had these cars that were built that were very like door wedges and they had straight edges? I think Austin Princess was one. They found that they had more accidents in those cars, not because they were dangerous, but it's because people got angry inside because they were straight edges. Then they put curvature into cars, and things calm down a little bit.
Every young man worth his salt wants to drive an E-Type Jag.
Look at the curvature of it.
Look at
It's a big
this is the
willy,
most
isn't it?
astonishing
It's
car.
a willy on wheels.
Yes, of course it is.
But it's a
Who
willy on
cares?
wheels, isn't it?
So someone goes, "Oh, it's a phallus on wheels." And what's your point? It's fantastic. Who cares? Obviously, phalluses are great then.
Yeah.
It's extremly pleasing to the eye. Yeah, no, fantastic stuff. We're always banging on about architecture here. Architecture and usury, that's all we ever talk about. But if we get those fixed, once we've got usury sorted, we can have some nice buildings, then we'll all be happy and have parties in them and stuff like that. So
yes, and bring back guilds and you think AI can release us to do this. So someone will be at school and they'll have an aptitude for fine art, real art.
Mm-hmm.
So we can actually bring back the type of buildings that people built in the 1880s and 90s, like the beauty of Tower Bridge and the beauty of... Because I was always told, it's because it's new, you don't like it. People didn't like Tower Bridge. BS. No, Tower Bridge was beautiful from the start. You either love it or hate it. But Gaudi is another one, Monsieur Gaudi of Barcelona. If you go there, you either love it or hate it. His architecture. Please Google it, Gaudi. I love it, but you might think I'm a bit of a nutter for liking it. But
no, I don't. I have looked at it. I've not delved into it. I will. I'll go on a Gaudi fest at some point and have a look and all that kind of stuff. There's a video out of a guy. I think he's a Spanish guy who's built an entire cathedral by himself. It's massive. This. Have you seen this? He's a completely uneducated bloke. He's totally uneducated. He doesn't know anything about architecture. He's built this spectacular thing over 25 years of his life. Something like that. Really? Yes. I haven't watched it. I've just sort of watched the sort of trailer and I thought, I ought to get round to that. I think I saw the trailer sometime in December. Yeah, some supposedly, well, they say literate, but I don't know whether it means that, but certainly an uneducated from an architectural point of view. But he just worked it all out. So you go, if people say we can't put those buildings up, they're talking through your backside. I'll tell you where there's a will, there's a way. We can put anything up that we like, as long as we're not interfered with. Oh, big problem. We are interfered with. We're not allowed to do stuff, are we? Mm-hmm. Anyway, today's the best. I've got today's letter quiz. Okay, I'm going to read you a letter, and you've got to guess who wrote it. I'm not going to keep you in suspense because it's a bit wrong for me to do things. It's quite an interesting letter. It's written November the 24th, 1986. So that's the year before the Great Wind. The great wind upheaval of 1987. It says this: Dear Laurens, spelt Laurens. That is a clue for those of you. Dear Laurens, am on way to Cyprus and Italy, having passed through Suez Canal. Lovely having 3 days at sea. This tour has been fascinating and have learnt a lot about Middle East and Arab outlook. Tried to read bit of Quran on way out, and it gave me some insight into way they think and operate. Don't think they could understand us through reading Bible, though. Much admire some aspects of Islam, especially accent on hospitality and accessibility of rulers. Also, begin to understand their point of view about Israel. Never realised that they see it as a US colony. I now appreciate that Arabs and Jews were all a Semitic people originally, and it is the influx of foreign European Jews, especially from Poland, they say, close brackets, which has helped to cause great problems. I know there are so many complex issues, but how can there ever be an end to terrorism unless the causes are eliminated? Surely, some US president has to have the courage to stand up and take on the Jewish lobby in the US. I must be naive, I suppose. Signed, somebody. Any guesses? It's almost impossible to guess, but it's very interesting who wrote that. Any ideas? Any clues? Starters for 10. Free tub of clotted cream to anybody that gets it right. Let's have a look in the chat. It's exciting, this, isn't it? Me playing a completely wacko surreal quiz on you. It's not really a quiz. Well, the answer is, to put you all out of... I know you're all sat there waiting with bated breath and going blue in the face. That was written in 1986 by Prince Charles, now King Charles.
Really?
Yes.
Well.
Isn't that interesting?
That would have been the last person
I know.
thought.
I know. Me too. That's why it was almost impossible for you to guess what it was unless you had a copy and had seen it beforehand. That's really... So, now, if you could get the 1986 version sitting on the throne, things... Of course, I'm talking like a naive buffoon. I know that's not going to happen, right? I'm just speculating like an idiot down the pub, which is where we are, of course, minus the beer and everything. But, yeah, that's quite an insight, isn't it? See? Of course, he was writing in that sort of...
It really is.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And there's nothing that he writes there that is not worthy of inquiry. Of course, he's a little naive, thinking the US president could do anything about the Jewish lobby, I assume. But whatever. Anyway, now it's all gone a little bit worse than that. That was 1986. So that's what, 40 years ago, is it? Yeah, 40 years ago. Can't add up. 40 years back. How about that?
That's incredible. It was old Charlie boy.
Yeah. Yeah, see, everybody has a good patch, except when they get in power. It's always very, very bad.
Well, Churchill did, didn't he? I mean, Churchill was all right before he came into power.
Well, he was,
before
actually.
He bought off.
Yeah, you've got to isolate their actions and behaviours and things that they did. Well, not always. I mean, he did terrible things to the Indians, all that starvation policy and everything. I mean, he's just, overall, plus or minus, big minus. Really, really bad. But he did have insight. But the thing was, it didn't matter that he had insight because he was easily pliable and brought over to that side. So the very side that he was writing against and keenly observing, and he could write. You got to give him his... I mean, he could. He actually could write. He could write very well. And he spoke well when he was sober and he wasn't being impersonated by Norman Shelley. He did. In fact, one of the things about him is this sort of calmness, really, in his voice. It's never strident or thumping the table or anything. It's steady, and it's got a sort of inner rhythm to it. It's very effective. Because it makes people listen. When someone's shouting and banging the table like we do from time to time, damn them all. It's completely useless, really. Well, it's not very effective, is it? But sometimes you just can't help it. I mean, I just swore vehemently at the TV tonight, which was really stupid of me. And my son said, you don't want to do that. I said, if you had not been here, I would have done it. I said, every now and again, it's a bit like I have to let go. Like you need a bit of mustard in the ham sandwich, don't you, every now and again to give it a bit of pop. So It's very, very, I always feel sheepish afterwards. Going, why did I say that? I thought because I wanted to at the time. It's just like a pressure valve release. Sometimes you have a little room in the house, don't you? You need to go into it and you shout. Just really like, no, what's he? Oh, he's just up in the shout box. Ah! You feel better now? Yep, way better. That's good. Got it out. It's childish, but it's better than going and seeing a trick cyclist, isn't it? Better. You don't want to be doing that.
Well, that's right. Or go for a Burton, as I used to say, because did you know that's where the word came from? Going
Was
for
it?
a Burton.
Really?
Yes. In the 1930s, the RAF were working on radar and cracking codes and things like that, just leading up to the war. And some of the blokes went a little bit funny, because it was really intense work. And the RAF psychiatrist was over Burton's tailoring. And it was a polite way of saying, and they said, well, where's such and such a person? Instead of saying, well, he's gone a bit doolally and he's gone to the psychiatrist, he used to say, oh, he's gone for a Burton, which meant he went going to the RAF psychiatrist.
Wow.
And that's where he came from.
I always thought it meant going for a Burton suit. I don't know why I thought that. That's the only other place where I saw it. But then I was very, very thick. at the time. Yeah, wow. Oh, that's good.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So there we
nice.
go. So not many people know that.
No, those of you, by the way, those of you who've been able to see today's show image, picked at random out of millions that I have in my back pocket. It's a wonderful painting by some Dutch chap whose name I don't have written down on a sheet of paper, so I can't tell you who it is, in the early 1600s. It came up at Sotheby's recently and went for £8.16. No, I don't know what it went for. Probably an astronomical sum. But it's a painting of the Tower of Babel. I think we've had one other image in the whole run here. I think it's when I had Christopher Sparks on about a year and a half back. We had the Tower of Babel. But it's a wonderful painting. And it's always a good theme to look at the confusion of language and the bewilderment of language and how we are being continually bewildered and spells are being cast upon us. We're moving around a bit tonight. As you see, there's not one central theme to tonight. You might have noticed. Oh, by the way, if you want us to talk about anything, fire out in the chat. We might be able to just spontaneously, educate everybody about particle physics or something like that. Unlikely, I think, Eric. I'm not very good at that.
Yes.
Are you any good at that? I'm not very good at that.
Well, as I was fixing the Lavie cistern this morning, I was thinking about particle fitting.
Were you?
Sorry,
What,
particle
particles?
physics. Yeah, but there were. But the word physics was left off.
Oh, no, me particles. Yeah.
I got trouble with me particles tonight.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, it's...
Yeah.
Anyway, we can maybe follow that theme through of looking at words and things like that in the second half. There were a couple of things. Actually, I've got some nice clip. I've got a clip from Jimmy Carr to play. You know him, the comedian, who was done for tax stuff and all that kind of stuff. We might be able to squeeze that in an hour. It's only short, but it's interesting because it's to do with suggestions for improving economic structures and all this, that, and the other. But we are coming up. I'm going to play a song a little bit earlier. We're coming up to the end of hour one. You're listening to Paul English Live here on WBN 324. We're with you on WBN 324 for another hour and a few minutes through to 10 o'clock here in the UK or 5 p.m. US Eastern. We carry on elsewhere. A couple of weeks ago, I played a song by Chris Rea and then was informed afterwards that he'd passed away. And I know he'd been ill for a long time. And I mentioned a song at the time. This is kind of a sort of... I always thought this was by ZZ Top when I first heard it. This is but I quite like this one. And the lyrics are pretty good too. So there we go. We're going to play Chris Rea for about 3 or 4 minutes, 4 minutes and a bit. And then we'll be back with you after this.
Just you and me. Take the day and fly. But oh, this job, it's got the best of me. Tell you why. Tell you why. Somebody above me's in a desperate state. Some kind of urgency, the kind that won't wait. I say tomorrow, he say today. And the man in my head, well, he tell me no way. Get working. I got 8 little fingers and only 2 thumbs. Will you leave me in peace while I get the job done?
Attention all listeners. Are you seeking uninterrupted access to WBN 324 Talk Radio despite incoming censorship hurdles? Well, it's a breeze. Just grab and download Opera Browser, then type in WBN324.zil. And stay tuned for unfiltered discussions around the clock. That's WBN324.zil.
The views, opinions and content of the show hosts and their guests appearing on the World Broadcasting Network are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of its owners, partners and other hosts or this network. Thank you for listening to WBN 324 Talk Radio.
Yeah, thank you. And speaking of WBN, I was on with... No, I wasn't, was I? Yeah, I think I was on with Ria this week. I don't know what's going on. I think I was on this Thursday. No, Sunday. It was Sunday, just gone. Had a great chat with her. Anyway, that was Working on It by Chris Rea. I quite like that. I think it's kind of ZZ Top-esque. What do you think, Eric?
Yes, it does sound a bit ZZ Top-ish. And actually, I've got their LP, ZZ Top. When I say LP, you know, the old vinyl one, not CD or anything like that. Very good they were. What happened to them? They sort of disappeared, didn't they?
Well, they were very old when they made it. When did they make it? 1984,
80s.
wasn't it? Yeah,
yes.
84 when they brought out whatever it was. I can't remember. Give Me All Your Lovin', I think it was. And I was listening to them before that. When that came out, I didn't like them. I didn't like that at all.
Really?
Yeah, because I'd been listening to them since about 1975 or 6. And so they started off really as a road blues band. And they were formed in the late 60s. So they've been going about 15, 16 years before they broke through. And they were, you know, the beards were real. They were really that old. They got the beards that long. Yeah. You know, they say, we're not young. We really are ancient. I mean, although Billy Gibbons, the guitarist, is still going. But they did some fantastic albums in the 70s. And they're much more, I mean, they didn't make it so big, but he's one of my favourite guitar players. Not on all that heavy stuff so much, although he's very good at it. He knows how to get all the pops and squeaks.
Good. Yeah, he knows how to play.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Yeah.
He's a very bright guy as well. His mother, I think, was involved with the Glenn Miller Band or something like that, in terms of, or a music arranger. So he comes from, you know, they look sort of the way that they look, but he's actually a really bright lad. And some of his guitar playing on some of the 70s albums is some of the best ever. There's an album they did which didn't do very well. And when you look at the cover design, you can see why. It's a kind of a miserable Mexican skull and crossbones or something. It's not a particularly good cover. I never liked it. But it's called Diguelo. And apparently they sort of took a break in 1976, came back in 1979, had all learned to play saxophones for some reason. So they put saxophones in it. But some of the guitar playing on that album, in fact, I might play one later on. I could, really. They're a bit more, they're not as thumpy as what you just heard, which wasn't a ZZ Top song, but they're not like the ones that everybody knows them by. So, yeah, I was sort of like a sort of nerd. Well, me and all my mates used to listen to some of that stuff, and he's a fantastic guitar player. It really is. I always think that, you know, less notes is more, and he's very good at that. He's very good at that, you know, whereas the other stuff where I can play 8 trillion notes a second. Great. Unfortunately, they're all wrong, and we can't be bothered. I mean, that's me.
Not in the right order.
Yeah, but not necessarily in the right order.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought they were pretty good, you know, the old, you know, I quite like that big guitar and stuff. But can you name any record in the last, 10 years that stands out? Any famous group? Because it doesn't, I think music became crap in the sort of, 2000s.
There will be some, but we're just old farts. We don't listen to it that much.
No.
Really, do we?
No.
I mean, I don't. I don't.
Really.
But there again, I mean, maybe it's as big a part of young people's lives as it used to be, but I can't see it because they got the smartphone, right? So instead of meeting at your mate's house with no money to play Risk and drink coffee and eat and fight over the last ginger nut biscuit while listening to all these albums, because you'd buy an album, you'd take it around to your mate's house and everybody would be there and you'd go listen to it. Go, this is pretty good. Ooh, I hate that, and all that kind of stuff. The other cool thing I used to like with albums is I'd buy them and I'd hate them. First time playing through, sometimes I'd get them and go, what a waste of money. Then 5 days later, I put it on again. That's not bad. After about 3 weeks, it sort of starts to click in your head. I guess you're brainwashing yourself, aren't you? And suddenly you go, bloody hell, this is fantastic. This is really good.
Kenny Everett said the mark of a good group is where you play the entire record through without skipping any tracks. And he said there was only one group that he could do that with, and that was ABBA. Now, ABBA is a bit like, is it Bovril or something? Where you either love it or hate it.
Yeah, Marmite.
Marmite, that's it, yeah. You either like ABBA or you can't stand them. I kind of like them, actually. I thought they're quite good.
They weren't.
So they're getting on a bit now.
It wasn't the band to like if you were a teenager in Yorkshire in the 1970s. I can tell you, you'd get. That's not what you put on.
No,
because you go to parties and the girls always wanted to put ABBA on. Dancing Queen, wasn't it? I don't know when that came out.
yeah.
Because you'd be just sat there as this sort of gruff person with your beer on your chest, going, "Bloody hell, I've got to go home. I can't listen to this muck." But that's me, ladies and gentlemen. We're not all the same. We like different things, don't we? But, I think Elvis Costello was like that. There's a bit with Elvis Costello where he said, when they came out, he said, I didn't like them at all. He said, but as the years have gone by, I've looked at what they've done, and, musically, they're very gifted. It is similar in a way to the Beatles in the sense of all the musical arrangements and stuff like that. And parts of the Beatles you either love or hate, I suppose. Some of the stuff I think by the Beatles it is quite amazing in a way. You listen to the sort of complexity of the songs, how they could sort of get in a mood going in 2 minutes and 15 seconds. I mean, they're not the only ones to do that, but they are probably the most prominent ones to be able to do all that kind of stuff. And I remember seeing Help when I was a kid, or when it came out, and I just thought they were so funny. I can't really remember them. That didn't seem important to me. Their demeanour and their relationship with one another was sort of, it was something quite special, I think, in a way. I've not seen anything much like that since. Although, of course, we could go and watch a boy band.
Oh, bloody hell.
What's that all about? Oh, I know, we'll just build one. No, you won't. You've never built one. They're just all crap. What can you do with it?
Crap. And
it's not real.
Member of what member of ABBA wasn't Swedish? There's one that wasn't Swedish. And it's quite an interesting story.
Oh, hang on. No. It's now Agnetha Falkstog, the one with the blonde hair. She was Swedish, wasn't she?
She was Swedish, yes.
Benny, who played, he was Swedish. He was blonde, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think the other guy with the beard was also Swedish. So I'm going to say it's the other lady with the dark hair, whose name I don't know.
100% correct. Was it Frida, I think, wasn't it? I think that was her name.
Oh,
and
you
know.
You had
she
pictures of her
rather
on your wall, didn't you? I just used Holmesian logic to work it out. I was just knocking them off. Elementary, my dear.
Yes. Just knocking them off. Well, we won't go into that. But anyway, what I was going to say is...
Steady on.
She had a very interesting past because she was born in Norway and her father was German. Because her mummy fell in love with a German chappie during World War II, and they did a little bit of horizontal jogging, and out popped Frida. And the Norwegians, after World War II, put any child that was of half German origin into mental asylums. And her mother quickly took her over the border to Sweden to save her child going into a mental asylum. So there we are. So we don't hear about that. Was you aware of that in Norway, what they did?
No, I wasn't. I am now, but whether I can remember that tomorrow morning at breakfast, I don't know. But no,
Yes, not many people know that. Sorry.
No. Oh, well. Anyway, I suppose, all that stuff. Now, did I not? I mentioned a Jimmy Carr thing. I'm just hopping around here. So everybody might know Jimmy Carr. He was on a podcast recently, and how long is this? Let me just have a look. I think he's only a couple of minutes. No, it's not even that. It's 1.5 minutes. He was just talking about economic things with European... Just have a listen to this anyway. It's about 5 days since I listened to it, so it's going to be a surprise to me again. Got memory like a sieve. Not really, but here we go. Oh, hang on, you can't hear it and neither can I. I'm always doing that. I'm not always doing it. I forgot to turn the tap on, Eric. This is no good, is it? This is no good. Let me turn the tap on now. Come here. There you go, you little bugger. There we go. This is Jimmy Carr.
I'm not a huge fan of Hungary's president, but they have an idea in Hungary that I think might be the most progressive idea I've heard in European politics in 20 years, which is if you're a woman and you have a baby in Hungary, you get 25% off your income tax for life. If you have 2 babies, you get 50% off. If you have 3 babies, 75%. 4 babies, ding, 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 no income tax ever again, right? Now that, to me, someone should be running on that in Westminster in this election, because you automatically get 50% of the vote, right? Because it's incredibly progressive. You go, well, hang on. If we can give women back that money down the line for having a baby, and we can close the gender pay gap, and we can encourage mums to go back to work, which is a great example to give your kids, a great thing to do if you want to do that, wonderful, and we'll incentivize you. It strikes me as, it's why are we not doing that? And someone's going to go, oh, well, we haven't costed it. It's going to, I don't care what the costing is. Because demographics is destiny. And if we encourage more people to have kids and we make it easier for people, then a better world. A better world. More of us. Great. Yeah. More of us is a good thing.
Does that remind you of anything, Eric?
Yes, it reminds me what a moustached man did
Yep.
in the 1930s with housing. And he wanted, because he realised that there was a problem with population. It had been reduced and it was going down. So to encourage people to have children, they did the same with housing. You got a loan, interest-free loan off the government bank to buy a house. And if you had one child, you got 25% knocked off that loan. 2 children, 50%. And if you had 4 children, you'd get the house for free. And that was it. That's it. So, and I think that they're doing similar... Well, he said about Hungary. There's another country, and I can't remember where it is, that they're doing similar, where they to increase the, and it's in Europe. And I can't think what country it is. Someone in chat might know. So there we go. So
well, it did make me think of that as well. So, and I knew you'd know that, and maybe many listeners here know it as well. These structures that can. That can easily be put in place to solve all these things they're moaning about. I mean, there's not enough people. That's why we've got to bring people in. What? What are you talking about? We only hear, of course, I know I'm only stating the bloody obvious, but we only hear the ideas that they want us to hear, which define the range of the discussion. This is all that they put in front of you. You go, oh, well, it's about more or less. No, we don't want any of it. Stop that. I mean, seriously. What's wrong with that? Now, the fact that Jimmy Carr, I'm not necessarily a big fan. He's got a very irritating laugh. He's a very bright guy, actually. I think he qualified as a barrister or got a law degree or something out of Oxford. He's not unintelligent. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not, sometimes every now and again I might smirk at some of the things he says, but it's not sort of whatever. I'm not a big fan or anything. But the fact that he, a prominent guy, albeit well known for tax evasion or something like that, which I couldn't care less about either, says this. Now, this is on a pretty hefty podcast, bigger than this one, which, of course, makes me grind my teeth to the gums. No, it doesn't. I think it's great that he's getting out there. And this is good. These things need to be picked up on all the time. So, but we never see this. You're not going to hear anybody in a position of power coming up with common sense ideas, which are there for anybody to suggest. And you look at them and you go, well, that's achievable. Yeah. We could do that. Well, we could, but something won't let us. There's a force at play, is there not, that will not let us sort out our affairs for healthy living, for good buildings, for honest money, for all of these things that we touch upon here all the time. And, we have to keep touching upon them because they're ongoing. So, I mean, I'd not heard of it in that way. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I think, yeah, that's great. That's absolutely fantastic. And so would that not encourage English families and Scottish and Welsh and Northern Irish families to start thinking about getting in the family way and going, yeah, love, we do this. Let's have 4, right? Let's get 4 sorted out. No more income tax for you. Why not? If they have 5, the husband gets that. Have 8, and neither of them pay income tax. Get on with it.
Right. Paul?
That's right.
Yeah, Paul. Hi. Welcome to the show, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
It's a good idea, but it'll never fly because they've spent decades telling us that the globe is overpopulated. That flies right in the face of population reduction and population control. Now they don't have enough people, so they have to import immigrants into the countries to get the jobs done. Well, no, sorry. Screw you. You've been reducing the population for decades. You've got the population you've got. You figure out how to make the stuff work without enough people to push the buttons.
Yep.
Bloody hell.
But it's simply to do with storytelling, isn't it? When you look at it,
Yes.
we're told stories, and people where stories don't count. Yeah, they do. They're running the world. Stories are running in everybody's head right now. We've got these stories, and of course we are exposed to the media. And as you go through it from the perspective that we are a part of, and that most of the audience are a part of, slowly but surely you begin to see that practically everything that you've received second or third hand, and there's no way of verifying it. So I actually don't know what the population of the Earth is. I will say things like there are 1,500 million people in India and about the same number in China. That may or may not be true. I'm going to have to just assume for now that it is. That's an awful lot of people. It's a huge number of people. And we've got this fact as well that is, of course, never communicated by the people in power, that our percentage of the world's population has been reduced from 33% in 1898 down to, I think, 9.5%. And we are continuing to shrink as a percentage, whilst apparently having to allow everybody else to come into our home. When you even just look at the percentage, you see the sheer insanity of it. I mean, I don't know how many people are in Nigeria. It's huge. I mean, it's off the charts. I'm not moaning about it. Great. Have as many people as you like. It's up to you to sort it out. Why is it? And of course, I'm talking about it from the wrong context. That's not the way to talk about it, I don't think. I'm just sort of picking up a popular way of talking about it. But the situation really is that the ideas that would solve the problem are never communicated. There's never any speeches at all that are about solutions and the actions needed to put them in place. And the minute they get even put on the agenda, you've got some spokesperson from the other side, whatever that is, telling you that you're a white supremacist or whatever and all this kind of stuff, whereas the data simply makes a mockery of that. But if nobody looks at it, which is the case, if nobody brings it up, if nobody says, do you know the impact of this would be really good for everyone, right, for everyone. I mean, what do you think is going to happen if there's more white people in the world? Well, it's going to ruin their agenda. And I still think it all taps back in to the sort of the type of people that we are. We're the wrong type for the digital age, in a way. I mean, we're great at building it, but they don't want people around it independent thinking. And, of course, that's all we want. That's all we're actually yearning for all the time, is to do our own thinking, make our own mistakes, because we see, I think, from our own history that that's where we've had the greatest success. We've also had a lot of trouble. We've had our backsides kicked loads. It's going on right now. I mean, why doesn't Nigel Farage in his garage pick that up and run with it? It's easy to say. It only takes 30 seconds. And say it a lot for 6 months, he might get a lot more votes. This is what we're going to do, right? You start having children and doing that stuff, your income tax bill goes down. So, which is clearly means, I mean, it indicates the next level of thinking, I guess, would be that you look at this and you go, well, obviously the agendas that they're stating are not the actual real agendas. The real agenda is the reduction of us in numbers and influence and stewardship in our own home. This is obviously what the goal is. It's not unobvious. It's absolutely that, because all these policies are bringing that about. And going back to even Liz Truss as well, which I'm doing far too often these days. I'm going to have to take some tablets to stop this. It's happening far too frequently. But when she was talking about all the people in the Bank of England are basically globalists, enabling migration into this country purely so their mates can get cheap labour and make a pile of money, and I reckon that is part of the truth, but not the whole truth. There'll be something beyond that. The real truth of it is that anybody that's still running around in their frame, in their bones, on the fumes of Christendom and the moral and ethical order that it brought about, not all perfect by any means, right? So, I'm not necessarily a big advocate of all that organised stuff, as people here know. But you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And whatever we got out of it seems to me to be way more than other people have got out whatever they've done. But that's my view. I couldn't have another view, but that's the one I'm bound to have. It's the one I received. And I look at it and I can see the problems with it. But I love it as a policy. Why didn't Jimmy Carr stand and say, this is what I'm going to do? That alone. I mean, the thing about the communication as well is that it's a positive. There's never any positives. There's nothing I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe you've heard one. I can't recall when a politician was providing some optimistic thing other than building something, or we're going to dig a tunnel or some guff like this. Yeah, we're not bothered about that, mate. We can build tunnels whenever we like. Oh, we can't finance this or we can't finance that. Shut up, right? What we want to know is about the health of families and being happy. No one talks about this. They never talk about the quality of food. You know, I'm coming over to Mark's bailiwick, but it's all of our bailiwick, really. We're all involved in this. There's never any communication where they will address us. Now, I say it as though I expect one. I don't. I'm just pointing it out in a slightly frustrated way. Because frustration does creep in after a while. It's extremely frustrating to be governed by people who are not going to say these things. They're never going to say them. And words count. They really do count, because there's a story being told to us that's obviously complete manure. It's total manure, the whole thing. So I did a bit of mic hogging there, didn't I? I hogged the mic. Sorry about that.
Yes, no, it's okay. But I was going to say, as I've often said, more people have been killed by governments that are supposed to represent them than all the wars put together. Mm-hmm. The numbers are phenomenal, off the chart. So what good is government? None whatsoever. To me, it's a chap called Larkin Rose. What he says is true. It's one of the oldest superstitions. It's just a superstition. That's all. To believe that a bunch of cronies can rule over you. That's all it is. Mm-hmm. People are quite capable of running their own lives without government, but we've just been lured into this false idea that we need government. No, we need government like an elephant needs a hang glider. We just don't need it. Mm-hmm. And you think of the wars that have been caused. They say religion, yeah, government, because of government. That's it. That's my 10 pence worth for tonight.
Well, you've got to give, even though I'm not a big fan, you've got to give the church credit where it's due. Pope Urban said, right, enough of this Muslim stuff. Crusaders, get on your horses. And there's more and more videos coming out recently. They pop up on my sort of search feed and everything, because I spent some time a few months ago looking into all of that. And I still recommend a book called God's Battalions, and I can't remember Richard Stark, is it? Something? God's Battalions, anyway, look it up. It's not expensive. It's 240 pages, and you want to know about the Crusades quick and detailed to the right level, that's the book for you, because you'll understand what it was really all about. And at least it was, you're saying, is that a righteous war? I'd say yes, it was. It was, because Christian people have been going down there for 300 years and been killed and robbed, raped, stabbed, enslaved. You go, I think we've had enough of this. It took 300 years, though, for the penny to drop. Maybe it wasn't so bad. And we're like this. We go, oh, maybe it'll go away. It's too much trouble and all that kind of stuff. Billy Silver writes here a couple of interesting comments, really, just on this thread. He says, large populations in those other countries enabled by my 9%, by us. This is true. I've thought about this as a pattern, really, going all the way back to the 1800s, early 1800s, this sort of period of so-called colonialism, which did exist and, of course, hasn't really ultimately worked out. But do you think that could be part of a long-term plan? It would not surprise me. And I thought, okay, what we do is we get the Europeans to go out all over the world, and then they'll beef everything up over there, and then they go back, and then we'll send all those people back and wipe them out, because we can't wipe them out on a battlefield. It doesn't work for us. We can't do that sort of thing. It's not what we do, but we'll get other people to sort of... All of these things I really view as aspects of what Frederick Blackburn would call, what is it? It's not fourth level, but fourth stage warfare, or whatever it is. It's this new sort of... It's the dark cloud that is over all things, where everything you can't see things clearly, because the people that are supposed to describe them to you are part of the lying machine. Are they not? Yeah.
Correct. And it's been, and let's face it, they're open liars. They're lying all the time. But people just can't seem to see through it. The amount of times you hear people say, old Nigel, he'll sort it out. No, he won't. He works for the banks. Can't people see through that? To me, it sounds so stupid. They might be interested in some property up in Norfolk next to the eroding coast. They can get quite a good bargain there. What's the matter with people? To me, it sticks out like a sore thumb. I don't vote, because what's the point? To me, voting is like a slave saying, I want to exchange the slave owner, please. And that's all it is. We haven't got true freedom. This idea of democracy is nonsense. Complete nonsense. Put about by the scammers.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, a little comment in here from Paul Stubbs. Hi, Paul. He says, "Hi, Paul. You talk about politics as if it was a genuine system corrupted by politicians. Do you really not understand that the whole system was designed that way from the start?" I do, Paul. I do understand that. I do understand that democracy is basically slow burn communism. I do understand that democracy was used to annihilate monarchs. I know that some of those monarchs were already corrupted. It's very complex. There's many, many layers of it. It's like a creeping virus into the system. I don't talk about it with a view that they're actually going to do anything good. But I've got to say that you have to sort of look at anybody that might be even nudging in the right direction. It's just an approach I'm taking at the moment. Maybe after a few years ago, well, that was daft. But what you're going to do, say to the population, hey, peasants, rise up and overthrow the government. That's not happening, in my view. That's not going to happen. People's lives are materialistically pretty comfortable, and people are going to keep putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. One of the things you could say about COVID was that it actually acted, and of course it was a very negative event for people that caught onto it quickly, very quickly. It wasn't. The negative event was not the virus. It was the mind virus that they saw was, sitting in everybody else's skull, so that when you're at the supermarket and you've seen all those people with masks on, you went, well, I did. I went, oh, this really is a problem. That instant compliance and obedience with authority. Yeah, I understand most of that, Paul. But these are nuanced conversations at times, aren't they? You've got to sort of, where do you stop off? If something comes along that's in support of the direction we want to go in, and it comes from a bad place, what do? You go, well, we can't actually get behind that. Well, I think ultimately that would be true. You can't, but you can talk about it. You see, someone just said that I'm holding a torch for Liz Truss. I went, drat. I am Liz. Hey, actually, did I tell you that I did? I mentioned it the other week, didn't I? My brother works with Liz Truss's dad. I can't believe it. Not in a full-time job. Did I mention this, Eric? Yeah.
No.
We were talking I was talking with him the other week, and he's up north, and his son's into tennis and stuff, and they've got a local tennis club, and apparently Liz Truss's dad's the chairman of it or something, and he's a complete lefty, which she isn't, I think, or he's a socialist, Of course, it depends what degree. Original socialists, you understand where they're coming from. It's like if you look at all these movements, the grounding for them, in nearly all cases, you understand it. You go, well, we've got these downtrodden people, the working class are being crapped on. And they certainly were in the 1800s. So this is the group. But then that thing is infected almost from the start and becomes, controlled opposition, even though most of the people in the movement don't even see it that way. It's going to drift that way, I think. But yeah, he says he's a lovely bloke, always making orange juice for people and bringing biscuits, a bit like at the parish hall. So I don't know the guy, and I shouldn't really talk about someone I don't know, but it's not bad. I'm not being critical. I just thought I'd let you know. So a small world, I'll be just meeting up with Liz soon because I've got to hold a torch for her. I won't. I'm just still impressed that she actually has said things about the real source of power that nobody else has ever said. I haven't heard it anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So if Rupert Lowe comes out with Restore, and I rate Lowe purely because he hasn't formed a political party, and we got to look these voices. I'm not saying that it's going to come from him, but any voice that gets a platform that says things that are pushing in the direction that we want, is that a good thing? I think it's a good thing. Or maybe I'm just being placated for a few months, and then it's all going to get worse again. So.
I think it is. But the thing is, again, it's this idea of ruling. People go on marches. Mm-hmm. Why? We should be ignoring these people out of existence. Oh, we're bringing this new law next week. Are you really? Good luck with it, because we're not going to abide by it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where you're going to have to pay this. Farmers are going to have to pay inheritance tax. Sod off. No, we're not. We're going to. My son or daughter's going to inherit this, and I don't give a damn what the government says. That's the thing, because the government rules by fear. They always have done, and violence. And they hide that fact behind this sort of very clever PR. But that's all it is, fear and violence. Otherwise, if it wasn't fear, violence, people wouldn't bother paying their tax, which in many ways is theft.
Mm-hmm.
Really,
yeah.
I mean, because if that money you paid, went for the good of people, we'd be living in absolute utopia by now. No, we're not. It's been flushed down the toilet.
We're not living in utopia. We're living more in tapioca, aren't we, or something like that? It's a mess.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it is. You're
Although
right.
I quite like tapioca.
I like that one.
Yeah, I quite like it.
Yeah, I like tapioca. Yeah.
I mean, there is something
You don't see
asinine
that so
about
much now.
there is something asinine about talking about the political thing, because even in talking about it, there's kind of some small acknowledgement that it's worth talking about. And in terms of what it says it's going to do, it isn't worth talking about. I mean, I don't get involved with it in that way. I'm just looking out there in the public communication space. And the more you look at it, the more powerful you realise that it is, because it's gently moulding people's perceptions all the time. It's gentle. It's very soft. It's this nudge, nudge, boiling a frog type technique. And people end up, how do you talk to a room of people? It's very interesting. What I mean by that is, if you were invited to give a speech to 100 people, is it possible for you to detect where they're at in terms of their knowledge and understanding? It's not. I don't think, unless they've already signed up to something and said, yeah, I'm part of the so-and-so club, and you go, great. And then so anybody that has signed up to whatever the context is, you can talk in a way that you wouldn't talk to people that are not in it. You know what I mean? You'd be able to push it farther. And you hit points. I bet you've done this. You're talking to someone and you think that they're open to something, you sense it, and they go quiet or they go a bit cold. You go, oh, we're not ready for that one yet, so I better not talk about that for a few months. But it's so slow. It's so slow. I mean, people buy into the agreement, don't they? The general agreement, if everybody's doing it, I'm going to do it because safety in numbers.
Well, you're right. I mean, I don't want to sound smug or conceited in any way.
Oh, go on.
I was out today. I went shopping and I thought, oh, sod it, I can't be bothered to go home and cook something. I'll have something out, which is rare for me because I don't like eating out. And I went into this cafe, and it wasn't that crowded. And I'm sitting there, scoffing away, and there was people all around, and their topic of conversation is on a level that is so bloody low, it's frightening. It's just nothing.
Spill the beans, Eric. What were they talking about? What did you hear? Listening?
It was so boring and mundane. I can't really remember. But I mean, it's just bloody. I mean, one woman's made was it a phone made a cat sound? So, and she said it's impersonating a cat. Oh, what's her cat called? It's called Meow. And she thought this was a huge joke. I'm sitting there thinking, huh? And I'm eating away, and her friends are going, oh yeah, her cat's called Meow. Oh yeah, did you hear that, Bert? Yeah, her cat's called Meow. Oh yeah. And I thought, is that funny? It's just boring as shit. I mean, is that
maybe those are the conversations we've all got to look forward to, eh?
Well, I thought this is going to be a long. I mean, luckily I was sitting on my own having a scoff, but but no, it's people are just mundane. I don't know.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah, Paul. Hi, welcome back.
Hi, Paul.
Hi there. I can't give specific examples, but I think everybody that sits down or that encounters another person to talk to them has to ask a number of questions. But do it in a non-questioning way. Do it like a stand-up comedian does. The very first thing a stand-up comedian does when he takes the stage is he does some feeler jokes or makes feeler statements, and he's looking for the response from the audience. And based on the response from the audience, he knows what kind of a group he's talking to. He knows what's going to be likely to be receptive and what's probably going to bomb. So you have to, and I have no idea of specific examples of this, but you have to have things that you can say that are largely innocuous, that just by looking at a raised eyebrow or somebody turning their head looking for a way to make a fast exit, you can use to determine what kind of person you're talking to.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Yeah,
I do. I mean, I think obviously mainstream media communications are a different kettle of fish in terms of the, and who gets onto the platform. It's almost like it doesn't matter what they say. The mere fact that they're on the platform is indicative of the fact that this is authority and you better pay attention, even what comes out. And then you go, oh, this is not so good. Isn't that what McLuhan was talking about when he said the medium is the message? The mere fact that it exists and that everybody pays attention to it is the actual instruction set. Forget the content. It's the wood that you're looking at. You know,
Right.
people can't see the wood for the trees. They get wrapped up in the content a lot of this time, I think, to some degree. You know.
I think
so-
COVID proved that.
Yeah, I think it did. I don't think there's necessarily any easy answer to that. And maybe it's a thing that's not even worth answering. Maybe, and I think it's more than maybe, I'm more that, you see, I think another challenge that we face is that there are things that we can do, and we're going to have to be called upon to do those things. And that's going to be uncomfortable. On a really simple level, just changing your day-to-day behavior patterns and doing things. It's almost like you can't get started, but I'm really comfy. Like, listen, I'm the same. I'm the same. It's really difficult. You go, oh, I don't have any bad habits. I'm fine, you know. And you go, could you change this? Could you get up an hour earlier? What? Could you meet me there on this day? But I don't go out on that day. It's stuff like that. It sort of puts a block on it because people just get, you can't help it. You get accustomed and acclimatized to the way that you've built your day and what you're doing. So, you know, for us to have a nation, and I don't know whether we can at the moment, to be quite honest, I think that might be a bit beyond us, but for us to actually sort of be a repository, is that the right word? I was going to say suppository, a sort of a place where this loyalty, as it were, to our past as a people and who we are can be held almost like in safe storage until the storm blows through. And I guess some people think it never is going to blow through, that they're going to get total control and that's it, game done. I don't subscribe to that. I really don't. I think nature, whatever you may consider that to be, but I think that there's an energy and a force in this environment, the place that we live, and I don't think it will tolerate it. This is a place where you're supposed to have more aliveness in some ways and to provide opportunities. This is the way I see it anyway, you know, for individuals to ask questions, to learn under their own steam. All of these things are things that we used to have to a far greater degree. It's never been perfect, but we know that we've had these things, these opportunities to do things under our own steam. And in the end, it kind of doesn't matter what you do. It's something to do with the way that you do it. I know it's the old thing. It ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. But it's true. It's true. You know, I mean, maybe nobody thinks about being a bricklayer. Maybe some of those early bricklayers and designers thought, I don't want to do this. I've just been, you know, my dad put me in as an apprentice to this bloke, and now I've got to learn bricks. 20 years later, he's just amazing. And because he's invested himself in it, it becomes attractive. And I think that's why, you know, when you see anybody doing a job well, it's good, isn't it? It's good. You might not want to be a cobbler, but if you see somebody that can take a sheet of leather and knock up a really fantastic pair of shoes, you go, bloody hell, that's fantastic. There's something about it. It's like it sends a message to you that you can do something that you could be proud of and that you could build or help with or whatever. And much of this gets lost, seems to me, in this system approach. The system approach, you know, we've all got to be equal. This is just, it's death, is this equality nonsense. That's all. I can't see it any other way. It's death, really. Yeah. We're coming up to, well, we're not coming up to the end. We've got about 20 minutes to go. Somebody put a question about the Shakespeare event that I went to a few weeks ago and said, could I talk about it a bit more? And I'd like to. The problem is that Shakespeare was only covered for about 5 minutes. And I am planning to get in touch with Alan of Salisbury, who was some of you may have heard of him. He's got a website and everything, who was talking about this. And I talked to him after, about this aspect. There were many other things that have been discussed. It was really to do with the language of the law courts. But part of the Shakespearean thing is that so many new words were introduced into the English language then in the late 1500s. And this, of course, is just prior to the arrival of the King James Bible. And I don't know if there's some kind of crossover, but you suspect there's just some kind of release with language or taking place. But the theory, I'm just going to call it this, the theory that Alan is putting forward. Now, I guess if I get to talk to him, we'll find there's a lot more meat on the bone than what I'm about to say. But the theory is that there was a team involved in putting this together under is it the Earl of Oxford? I've forgotten his name now. That's the one that I go for. There's a guy called Anthony War, I think it is, or Alexander War, a nephew of Oberon War. You know the War family, Evelyn War, and there was Oberon War, and he's part of that family. Unfortunately, he passed away about 4 years ago. He has a YouTube video channel which goes into the whole of this thing to do with this guy, Oxford. And when you look at his life and how it moved around, he would definitely be a person who's very highly educated and had gone to all the best colleges or whatever that were available here, which of course very few people did numerically. And so he would have had a broad base of knowledge and had tremendous connections in government and the ambassadorial services and things like this on which to draw upon for the material. But the addition is that there were other people in there with him, one of which was a woman whose name I don't have, who I think in part possibly was responsible for many of the female parts in the whole thing. And she lived out in Hampshire, I believe, which is not a million miles from where I'm sat. And they used to meet at these houses and put them together. I don't really mind. I just don't subscribe personally to the idea that there was somebody called William Shakespeare. And one of the points that Alan was making is when you're in combat, right, when you're confronting the enemy, one of the things traditionally that tribes would do is they would lift up their spears and shake them at the enemy, right? Like, I'm ready. Come on, if you're hard enough, that kind of stuff. It's a battle, a preparation for battle. And he said that's part of the key, because much of this language has gone into so-called legal language, the confusions of the courts. So, and I'm sure many people have heard these sorts of things. I'm only going to mention one, but I think there's loads of them. But if you even look at the word court, C-O-U-R-T, which of course is also used for a tennis court, it also could be C-A-U-G-H-T, court. You go to that court, you're caught. Why? Because, I mean, Paul would know this better than me, you've basically more than tacitly admitted that they've got jurisdiction over you. And therefore you've fallen into their private, I would suggest, their private club of legalities. And that's how they get you. And they say, well, you agreed to come in here. You see, you walked through the door. I didn't know I was agreeing to anything. I was speaking to someone the other day who was talking about this word estoppel. You heard that one? The word estoppel, E-S-T-O-P-P-E.
Yeah,
Sounds
Paul.
familiar.
Yeah,
Paul,
Patrick, hi.
What does that mean? What does estoppel mean?
I don't know. I'm asking the audience. I was speaking to someone the other days, but it stopped the forcible seizure of a property. This is, hopefully I'll get her on the show at some point. It was just a phone conversation I had the other day. This is key stuff. So you say one word and it stopped something. There's probably more than one. And then we tap back into this thing about all words are a series of letters put in a particular order. And doing that is called spelling it out. So you do your spelling test at school. So every word that comes out of your mouth is a spell, literally, every single word that comes out of it. And there was another little thing that she mentioned in the call. She said that she'd been in a court case and the prosecuting lawyer, the judge turned to him and said, well, Mr. Sansa, I look forward to the magic coming out of your pen. Right? And apparently afterwards, backstage, she spoke to him. She said, you're just casting spells on us. What's all this stuff about magic? And he said, yes, we are. This is all about spells. If you don't understand words, you're doomed. Now, David G, hi David, who's quite a regular contributor to the Paul English Telegram chat, sent me this little music sort of thing. And I'm going to play it now. I was going to play it at the top of the hour, but we're on Shakespeare. I want to do it. So you have to listen to the words. I'm looking at a video type thing. I can't play it for you. I apologize for that. But it's to do with all these words and phrases that have come into the English language from Shakespeare. And they're off the charts. This is about 2.5 minutes long, so we'll give this a roll. And let me make sure that this time I've opened the tap, because it's very important that you do such a thing. Otherwise, no one's going to hear it. Here we go. It's titled Things We Say Today Which We Owe to Shakespeare.
You say I'm every day, think it's brand new slang, but they started on a stage, these are Shakespeare's lines. Break the ice, wild goose chase, heart of gold, green-eyed monster in a pickle. Wear my heart upon my sleeve, it's all Greek to me. Good riddance, love is blind, too much of a good thing, seen better days. All that glitters is not gold. Method in the madness, what's done is done. Flesh and blood, fair play. brave new world melted into thin air. Neither rhyme nor reason be all and the end all. Something wicked this way comes. One fell swoop, star-crossed lovers in my heart of hearts. Clothes make the man not slept one wink. Eat me out of house and home, kill with kindness. Knock, knock, who's there in my mind's eye? The world's my oyster, all the world's a stage. Paradise, not budge an inch. The game is up, lie low. Naked truth, a sorry sight. A dish fit for the gods. All's well that ends well. We didn't write these words, they survived the years and wars. From the stage to the streets, they're still yours and ours. We didn't write these words, we just passed the torch higher. Every phrase, every line, Shakespeare fed the fire.
So there you go. I bet you only clocked it once. You're going to have to hear it again, right? We could do with the transcripts of that. I particularly liked, I didn't realise that You're Going to Eat Me Out of House and Home was him. That's quite good. Yeah.
But John Hamer, he's looked right into it. And Shakespeare is a myth, really. It was written by someone else. And the real Shakespeare, when writing The Merchant of Venice, he wouldn't even be able to locate Venice on a map. He never went there. It's all a little bit, shall we say, it's a bit like Mozart. The late, great, what was his name? Robert Newman. He did, I did a radio thing with him, and it's called The Mozart Myth. And he reckons that Mozart was just average. And the reason why they made Austria, that part of Austria, was it Salzburg, I think it was, wasn't it? The area of music, is because they were losing battle after battle, and they wanted to bring the empire, Austro-Hungarian Empire, up in the world. So they decided to make this fictional music prodigy, which he wasn't, and he proved that most of the music wasn't written by him, and it's a bit like Shakespeare. I think it can be proven that Shakespeare was just a mythical character and his works were written by others.
Oh, I think so. It's a pen name. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what Alan of Salisbury would say, and I would agree with it. I'd sort of stumbled into this work of Anthony Alexander Waugh. I'm sorry, I can't remember the first name, but there is a YouTube channel with quite a lot of his presentations. They're detailed, and there's a website. There is a society called the Oxford Society or something, which basically proposes that he was there. What Alan of Salisbury's saying is that he was almost like the leader of a group, and that kind of feels right. I don't know how long, but Shakespeare, absolutely, it was a pen name. They picked it, like I said, because it's the act of shaking a spear, which is an act of declaration of war. We're about to head into combat. And so these words and phrases, but I mean, I actually just ordered a copy of the complete works of Shakespeare, and it turned up just before Christmas, and it's crap. I can't read it. They sent me the wrong book. The one that was in the ad, I bought it from a company in the States. They just picked another one up and sent it to me, and I can't send it back. It was only about 12 quid, which is why I bought it. I mean, it's actually quite a hefty tome. And I've got another copy elsewhere, but I wanted something in larger type, you know. And I just thought I ought to jump into these things and really have a look at them, but not through that one. I'm going to have to order another copy at some point. Did you do it at school, Eric? Did you do Shakespeare at school?
No. If you mentioned Shakespeare, the kids when I was at school, they said, "Was it new washing powder or something?" We never did Shakespeare. The only thing we read was Hobson's Choice and things like that. And
that's grand. That's Shakespearean
like that.
in its impact. If you ask me, it's absolutely marvellous. I love Hobson's Choice. It's amazing.
Well, when you look at a lot of these myths, like, for example, Christopher Wren, who was said to be the architect of St Paul's Cathedral. He wasn't an architect. And there was a lady, I can't remember her name now, who looked into this. Again, I interviewed her, and she said all loads of the drawings that were done were not signed by Christopher Wren. I said, no, Christopher Wren wouldn't have done the drawings because the architects will do the main outline of what they want, and it's the technicians that do the drawings. So you look at any buildings, if something like Richard Rogers, the architect, you look at the building, that crappy Lloyd's building that he did, you look at the drawings on that, it'll be loads of technicians that had actually worked out how designed it. Most of the actual thing, and it's the same with most of the building rather, and it's the same with Swan Castle. Swan Castle in Germany, that's where Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was filmed. You know the one, Swan Castle. It was done by Prince Ludwig. It wasn't designed by architects. It was designed by theatre set designers. And that's why it's so beautiful.
Do you have in your house? Do you have any Shakespeare books in your house, Eric? Don't worry. Don't be about. Right, okay, it's worth getting one. Just get one, anyone you like, and just to start trying to read it. There's shout out again to David G for sending it in. Thank you very much, David. I enjoyed that a lot. And if I could find out how to play videos inside this thing, I'm sure it's easy, but I just haven't prepped it, so my apologies. But it is really about the words. There's a very interesting comment here from Billy Silver. I think this is very much in line with my thinking. He says, Shakespearean language is rather mind-blowing in its intelligence. Yes, it is. Especially its delivery and a profound understanding of sound and rhythm and the subconscious. It's amazing stuff. You can't. You get sort of like a deckhand. Come on, I'm just picking one out for random. It's just to illustrate a point. We'll walk into a scene. He might only have sort of 64 lines because they all talk a lot, right? And you look at what he's talking about. I don't know any deckhands that understand all that. What's he talking? It's amazing. And I picked one up the other day, and I was thinking about Shakespearean actors like Larry, right, and all these people.
Larry.
Sir John Gielgud, who was the world's worst actor.
That was my Hamlet in 1954. Of course, he was very well received at the Old Vic. That kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But the reason why I say you ought to try and just look at some is to think about remembering these lines. Because I'll tell you,
recollection, yeah.
Holy moly, yeah! It's just because it's a totally different. It's not a totally different language. You can pick bits up, but it ain't easy. And it is like they're all speaking poetry and sonnets to one another all the time, and it's all got a point, and it's so richly compressed. They say 2 sentences, and it's like, hang on, there's enough there to think about for an hour. It's like that all the way through. You go, I'm exhausted. I can't only read 2 pages. If you're really sort of paying attention to it, it's amazing stuff. Absolutely amazing.
Written by a chap called Francis Bacon, wasn't it? That's what they believe. It's either Francis Bacon or another chap who's.
No, it's the Earl of Oxford. We'll have to do a vote on it. Who they think? I think the case for Oxford is extremely strong, stronger than anything else I've seen. Yeah, I don't think it was Francis Bacon. He can't have done everything. He's a busy lad, designing New Atlantis and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's been a bit rash, old Bacon.
Of the complete works, and it's about 1,300 pages of small type.
Yes.
So for someone to compile that, it takes a crew of people to do something of that nature, I believe, in order to get that much. He's prolific as all get out, so no matter what, it's probably somebody dictating a lot of this stuff down so that, you had your secretaries and whatnot. It's kind of like the way that Samuel Johnson made his dictionary. It wasn't just him, it was a whole crew of people that they got together. So I'd imagine that's what happened.
And lots of duck quills and gallons of ink. I mean, I'm sort of picturing sort of teams of them. I could easily see them reenacting a play. Several of them going, well, let's write the play as if we're the actors. It makes sense to me. The idea that one guy could do all that is very difficult, but maybe he was just astonishingly gifted. I mean, this is also true, but it certainly wasn't anybody called William Shakespeare.
He may have been the one who headed up the group, if that's the case.
Edward de Vere, says Billy Silver. Thank you very much for putting me out of my misery. Absolutely, Billy. That was his name. Edward de Vere, Earl of Oxford, I think it is. Very bright guy with a team of people. And then maybe we're put onto it. Go, we need to redesign the language. This is one of the themes that Alan of Salisbury was talking about, is that we need to inject these new words in. And when you've got new words, you can think new thoughts. It's a bizarre idea, but it's true. I think I mentioned here before, if you've got a small vocabulary, you're going to build a civilization that reflects it. If you've got a vast one, you're going to build one of those. And the vast vocabulary is going to create. You can articulate really complicated ideas because you've got the language to do it. It's,
sorry, Patrick. Go ahead.
Just one quick point. And you have the biblical Tower of Babel as your picture, and I know that the story of the Tower of Babel is that everyone spoke one language, but there were very few words. And God came and he stopped them from building it by dispersing them and giving them all sorts of different languages and words for the same thing.
Yep.
But
he did. Anyway, look, we're just hold that. We'll carry on with a bit of Shakespeare. Our guest for hour 3, Eli James, has turned up, but we're just about to say goodbye. We're here at the end of hour 2, so we're going to say goodbye to our listeners on WBN 324. We'll be back again same time next week, 3 p.m. US Eastern, 8 p.m. UK. I played this 3 months ago. I can't believe this, but I like this so much. Anyway, it's just a jaunty little tune by the Divine Comedy National Express. We're going to do this. We're going to say goodbye to you with this. And then in hour 3, we'll be joined by Eli, and we'll carry on our conversation about words, the Tower of Babel, Shakespeare, and what fun things we're going to get up to in 2026. We'll see you on WBN next week. If you want to carry on listening, go over to paulenglishllive.com where you can pick up all the streams there.
Take the National Express when your life's in a mess. It'll make you smile. All human life is here, from the feeble old deer to the screaming child.
How cheery is this?
From the student who knows that to have one of those would be suicide. Eternal pride, and everybody sings. Yeah. All right. We're going where the air is free. On the National Express, there's a jolly hostess selling crisps and tea. She'll provide you with drinks and theatrical winks for a sky-high fee. Mini skirts were in style when she danced down the aisle back in '63. But it's hard to get by when your arse is the size of a small country. And everybody sings. Yeah. All right. We're going where the air is tomorrow belongs to me.
When you're sad and feeling blue, with nothing better to do, don't just sit there feeling stressed. Take a trip.
The National Express.
Neil Hannon there and the Divine Comedy with a jolly, happy tune, National Express. If you couldn't guess what the title was, I think he said it quite a few times. Maybe he's a modern-day Shakespeare. I don't know, but there's something jauntily happy and buoyant about his tunes. Anyway, welcome back to part 3. Hour 3, and we've been talking about Shakespeare. We're going to carry on talking about whatever we want, but I'd like to introduce our guest, our returning guest, first time on for 2026, Eli James. Hello, good afternoon to you. Welcome to the show.
26. It looks like it's going to be a bang, crash, slam year. Everything is collapsing, which is what we were. Yeah, we've been expecting this, right? By the way, I thought that song would never end.
Yeah, did you like it that much? It's good. Look, it's the unofficial album of nationalists. It's not the unofficial anthem of. It's not really. No, it does go on a bit,
right.
but it's. I just get all happy. It's just great.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. The lyrics are worthy of Shakespeare. Seriously, it's hard to get by when your arse is the size of a small country. Yeah. I mean, come on, they don't write lyrics like that anymore. This is what you, and it's a very British sort of song, Eli. You might not know it, but it's to do with travelling around on coaches. There's a coach company called National Express, and it's to do with the experience of being on it, and the sort of it's a very twee sort of homespun thing, but for British types, they know exactly what he's talking about. It might not travel that well, a bit like National Express, I suppose. I don't know, but
I thought it was the Nashville Express. You're saying National Express.
National, yeah, but you could re-record it as the Nashville Express, although it might not go down so well. And retweet the lyrics for an American audience. I don't know. Yeah.
No, the Americans would jump off the train if they had to listen to that for 8 hours from Nashville to Houston.
Oh, we'll train you yet. Anyway, you'll be giving
Oklahoma.
We'll train you. Anyway, look, Happy New Year to you as well. Yeah. Happy 2026. It's great, isn't it? And everybody's really happy unless you're a Venezuelan, I suppose. I don't know.
Right. Oh, man. Yeah. They're so happy that all of their national resources have been stolen by Russia, China, America, and who else? Just about everybody else. The bankers. Yep. The bankers. Yep. The bankers lost their ass. Speaking of having a big ass, they lost their ass in silver. They're going to lose it in gold. They're going to lose it in everything else because the inflation bubble is finally bursting. It's finally bursting.
Yeah, well, the silver thing is, I think historically, silver has always traded apparently at about, gold has always been 18 times the price of silver. 18 times. Right. But what's gold at now? $4,500, is it an ounce or something?
Yeah, something like that. And,
silver's still got a way to go.
82. Yeah. 82. It's going to crack 100, and gold will probably go to 10 grand. Because they're going to keep the Federal Reserve note afloat until they can't float it anymore. And that's what they're doing. They're floating the Federal Reserve note. And but all the other countries of the world have pretty much abandoned the what's falsely called the U.S. dollar.
Oh, we love it over here, don't we, Eric? Eric, we love the US dollar, don't we? We do. We love it. We love it, Eli. We think it's great. Keep it going.
Will it buy an order of fish and chips?
What, $1? No, you won't get you much these days. What is $1 worth?
No, not even a cup of coffee.
Depends.
I don't know. How much is a cup of coffee in the States? How much is it? Is it $4 for a cup of coffee? What is it now?
Yeah, well, if you go to a Jewish place, Starbucks, right?
All right, okay.
$10.
All right, okay.
$10
is it really?
Coffee.
Is it that much?
Yeah, McDonald's varies from $1.50 to $3. For a stinking cup of coffee, right?
Well, it's down to Slack. We need Bob Smith's coffee house or something. I worked with a guy when I first moved down here 25 years ago, or whenever it was. After the following summer, we'd bumped into people, and I hung out at a guy who ran a coffee shop. He wasn't really a coffee shop guy. He was doing other things in the back office, actually betting on golf. Yeah. He was betting on golf really successfully. Yeah,
he had this what they do in the back of the coffee houses?
They did in this one. And that's where all the money was made. It was. He went through it with me, and it was just it was very interesting what he did. It was just completely logical and normal, and he was just coming out on all these golf tournaments. He would back multiple players to be in the top 10 or whatever, and it was just anyway. Golf's a weird one because you don't know who's going to win what. But he was telling me about coffee. So at the time, and it's double the price now, but he was selling a cup of coffee for £2 for a cup of coffee, and it cost 8p to make. 8p to make. That's a profit margin for you, isn't it? 8p to make. Yeah. That's not bad.
Yeah.
If you sell 1,000 of those a day, you're doing well, aren't you? 1,000 a month.
Well, I had a coffee today, and it cost $3, which is about $1.95. That's in the cafe. And I had a nice meal, and the whole lot came to £10.95. Wow. No, £10.65 for coffee and a meal, which is not bad. Which is about $15, something like that. And I thought it was good value, and I had a I had a nice pile. I had a shepherd's pie with roast potatoes and vegetables, and I thought it was a bloody and gravy, a nice jar of gravy. So I thought that was quite a good deal.
Yeah,
$10.95. You're lucky.
That's the lot out with coffee.
With coffee, right? Well,
it's a nice cup of coffee.
Yeah. Most coffee is better than Starbucks. Starbucks is too strong for me. Plus, the clientele is too liberal, so I avoid places that have liberal clientele.
I can't come in here. You're all too silly.
Yeah. But I remember, this is like 1980 in the Chicago area when I was working in the suburbs, and I would go to, what's the fish chain? I can't remember the name of it. It's a chain of restaurants that serves fish and chips, actually American, and rolls and salad. They're famous for their rolls. They're cheesy rolls, and $5 for a fish sandwich with rice pilaf and what else
That's
they
not
serve
bad.
with the rice and a biscuit or a roll. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a fish sandwich for $5.
It's not bad. $5. No.
Yeah. But today it'd probably be 15 for sure. 15.
We've got a place called Subway over here. I don't go in there because they have the sort of food I wouldn't want to eat. I mean, what I like about the place I went to today is it's got no microwave ovens there, and they cook things from sauce. And if you have fries, which we call chips, you can see the potatoes. You can see they've actually cut them from the potatoes. And they're old-fashioned, real potatoes. And this is why I go there, because they have bloody good grub, and it's decent, and they don't charge a lot. And this is what I'm thinking of. I think we should sort of get these people, like if we have the Fockham Hall Times, we should print these places. If you go to a good place, you can recommend it. If you go to a bad place, you don't give I don't believe in giving bad reviews. I always believe in giving good reviews.
Oh, okay.
If a place is crap, I don't go there.
If you don't have any good reviews, say nothing.
Well, precisely. If a place is crap, I don't go there. But this place is bloody good. It really is. And $10.95. Who can complain about the meal that I had in it? Is a real filler. It filled me up. And
you know what we need, Eric, don't you? Eric, we need your daily meal report. A bit like from the Far Show. Today, I will mostly be eating steak pie or whatever it is, and that's it. We need to know where you're going. Eric's Eats. There you go. Eric's Eats. That's what we need. We need to know about
Eric eating, yes.
Chomp, chomp, chomp. Yeah. Well, I don't want the full sound effects and everything.
Eric's Chops. Eric's Chops. Chops of the day. Okay.
That's right. I'll tell you a place I'd never go to. That's McDonald's and Kentucky Fried Chick. It's not chicken, it's chick. I think you get a bone with a bit of meat stick to it. I mean, the only time I go into McDonald's and Kentucky Fried Chick is to use their lavvy. Yeah. And that's it, really. I go to the Carsey there.
Yeah, I just remember the name of the chain. It's Red Lobster.
All
right.
These days, you're paying $30 for a meal. Easy.
$30?
Not 40. Yeah. All right. So for a lousy fish and chips. And,
Red Lobster, they almost went out of business. They had all you could eat shrimp, and they went. Oh, it was crazy. People would go in there and pig out.
Shrimpaholics.
Yeah.
Good grief.
Right, right.
Can you get sort of good meals though? I mean, are there still cafes around? We can go in there and got similar to what I got today for about sort of $10, $15, something like that.
Oh, no.
Or are they few and far between?
No.
I mean,
The answer's no. No, you can't.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, who was that just broke in? He was talking about
This is Patrick.
language. Patrick, yeah, you were talking about the language spoken at what do you call it, the Tower of Babel?
Yeah.
Okay. And somebody said they had a very small vocabulary. I know exactly what that vocabulary is. It's yes, no, and maybe.
I've got a
You want
very
to carry a brick?
Yeah.
No. Maybe. Or yes. If you want to get paid, yes. Okay. That's where we're going to be back to carrying bricks, folks.
Oh, it's going to be lovely, Eli. What is the general mood?
no, it's
You
lovely.
mentioned silver and gold just there, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you. I'm not reading up on it much. I just get splurges, of the price going up and all this, that, and the other. But as I said, if historically it's supposed to be 18-fold, that means silver's way undervalued. Even at 70, it should be about 200. And it'll probably climb to that. The thing about this, obviously, yet again, like everything else, the market in it is fake. It's been fake for years.
It's all fake.
It's just all completely fake. And one of the problems is getting off the fiat usury money system is it's not going to be easy. I know there are people that say, well, we'll switch to gold or we'll switch to crypto. I don't think they're thinking it through. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they've got to keep the fake money system going. We were talking earlier about workmanship and guilds and how people used to directly apply and grow their skill set to produce things of value. We're talking hundreds of years ago, okay, craftsmen and all this kind of stuff. That world obviously has been done away with by the economy, the economic system, which is basically a reflection of usury being within the banking system. But because it's so endemic now, it's a bit like the whole world, to some degree. An analogy is that we've all become literally addicted to usury money. Whether you wanted to or not, you've been compelled to become like a drug addict because you need more money next year to get the same amount of stuff that you got this year by design, which keeps you running in the hamster wheel, which means that some politician can tell you about how to improve running in the hamster wheel, whereas what we're saying is we don't want to run in it. We don't want any of this stuff. Yeah. But how you would get the world off this system without it all getting blown to bits or whatever, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. It's a good question, but I don't know what the answers are.
Well, I know.
Yeah?
I know exactly what they're going to do. But it's a good simile because inflation is like the heroin of the economy.
Yeah.
Right? You gotta inject more and more. You gotta inject more and more into your body until the amount of heroin you have to inject in your body is more than your body can handle. Right? How many pints of blood? You got to inject 5 pints of heroin into your body in order to get high. So it's going to fall apart. It's falling apart because the Federal Reserve note is no longer being accepted by oil-producing countries, by Japan, by China, by BRICS nations, Saudi Arabia. It's over. It's over. Now,
we'll see. I'm gonna hold judgment on that because obviously Mr. Trump has just brought about, now what are they calling it, regime change in Venezuela. They've got quite a bit of oil, I hear. In fact, apparently they've got the largest reserve.
Silver.
Yeah, so you won't have a problem with keeping the fiat money system going if you've got loads of oil, because by extension, the number one thing, really what money is, they're oil tokens. It's the number one traded commodity on the face of the earth, and it basically underpins all these exchanges. And this is why the knock-on effect is that the energy system is not allowed to come away from oil as we need it for manufacturing. You absolutely need it. It's great stuff, right? But you can't come away from it because they need that volume of cash flow all the time to keep the money system in place. It's maybe they just need to shut it down. Something, and then we all go mad.
I mean, you need oil.
Yeah,
we obviously need oil,
Yeah.
But the petrodollar is history. The petrodollar is no longer going to buy oil because the oil producing countries, the Arabians, the Iranians, and whoever produces oil, maybe not even the Canadians, they're not accepting American money anymore. They're just not accepting it. So they have to come up with a replacement. And what it's going to be is it's just going to be totally non-physical money. It's just going to be all digital money. You're going to be spending on your cell phone, on your computer, on your debit cards and credit cards, and maybe they'll even come up with a new a spending device that will keep all of your economics handy in your wallet. Your wallet it'll be all digital.
Sounds
that way
great.
Nobody can count how much money is actually in circulation, right? So they can inflate it to the hilt.
I think there's definitely an element of that coming. I mean, I think we're already in the middle of it. But think about, I don't know how much oil they've got in Venezuela, right? But you see...
Lots.
Yeah, lots. Hence regime change. No, it's because they were naughty and allowing terrorists. Really? They just happen to have a lot of oil floating around as well. Okay, that's quite useful. But also, literally in your neck of the woods, in Alaska, there are colossal reserves of oil and gas fields that are yet to be tapped. There's something...
Right.
It's like a mad chess game. It really, I mean, they're huge numbers. I've mentioned him before. He passed away recently. I can't remember his name. He was a pastor that went up there. Oh, his name escapes me. But they discovered this colossal oil field up there, I think 1974, and they shut it down. The government shut it down after 2 weeks. They won't allow them to get it out. Why? Because you can't, if you've got your own stuff, you don't need to borrow money off anybody to get your own stuff, do you? It's like buying it back off yourself. It's mad. So I think it's all been to do with geopolitics. Yeah, well, it's to do with geopolitics. Right. I mean, they want everybody reliant on the Middle East because it allows to exacerbate politics in the area. They think it's just like these plotters. They're just nutters, really. I mean, you go away. Yeah. But they're a different breed altogether. So the Venezuela thing, I think, has definitely got part to play in all of this kind of stuff. I can't see, seriously. Even though I'm a complete cynic and understand how it works, I can't see the fiat money system going away any day soon. There'll be a lot more drama talked about it. Yeah, so if we say that, say, all the dollars and pounds and euros and everything are ultimately backed by oil, I mean, the next biggest traded commodity after oil, but it's a massive drop, is coffee. We were talking about coffee earlier. It's coffee, right? Seriously. Yeah, but oil's the biggest... Yeah, oil's actually a bit more important than coffee, although I suppose if you speak to coffee drinkers, that's not true. But that's what's underpinning purchasing power. So the energy market has to be controlled. So the dependency on oil has to be maintained to underpin the very flimsy purchasing power of dollars. I mean, I'm not telling you I know what the solution is, but there's a lot to it. There's all these different layers to it, unfortunately.
Well, I'll tell you what else is happening here in America. I don't know if you've heard about it overseas, but both California and New York State are totally running out of gas deliveries. Why? Mm-hmm. Because they require the regulations. The environmental regulations of those two states require extra refining. That's why they're paying like $7, $8, $9, $10 a gallon in California and New York. And the refineries that produce that kind of gas are closing down.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, the petrodollar is history. It won't be tied to oil. It's going to have to be tied to something else.
Carbon credits, Eli. Carbon credits.
Yeah, carbon. Your exhaust, the exhaust coming out of your gas pipe. Right? Maybe lithium. No, they have to tie it to something. But actually, when they have a fiat currency, which is nothing but digital money, they don't have to tie it to anything. It's going to be pure fiat money, digital. That's what it's going to be. Okay.
Yeah, I think we've been there for a long time in a way. The form of it,
we have.
The form of it, is not really that important in a way. And as I said, I'm going to quote Aristotle again. He talked about fiat money. He said, "There's nothing wrong with it, as long as we get godlike intelligence for kings." Which means, he was being cocky. He's basically saying, he's being honest. He said, "We don't get that, so there's everything wrong with it because you're not going to get." You're not going to get this level of intelligence from kings. As a sort of tribe builds into a civilization, it gets mighty complex because that creates lots of jobs for the complex solvers. It's let's make that more complicated, and then I can regulate it. Okay, there's a job for you, boy.
So what are the Democrats in New York and California going to do for all of these petrol buyers who can't get the gas because the refineries won't produce it anymore, and if they do, it'll be $20 a gallon, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's over. The hyperinflationary economy is shutting down. But for all of the corruption involved, the green machine of the liberal states, and basically you have the Democrats are a welfare state for the poor and for the lawyers and the Green Party and the Communist Party. And the Republicans are for the corporations. It's a welfare state. It's all based on welfare, government welfare. And now where does the money come? So they have to keep printing more and more money to support the government welfare programs. And so there's no end to the inflation until it totally collapses. So get ready for digital money, purely digital money without any. Now, that's why you should, if you've got gold and silver and even cash, hang on to it because it will come in handy in an emergency.
Yeah, it will. Not as handy as a really good food supply, but you're right. Absolutely, you're right. Yeah. What about the peasants in all of this, Eli? What are us peasants supposed to do? I mean, Americans don't think of themselves as peasants, but I do. I think of myself as a really pleasant peasant, along with other fellow pleasant peasants here. And it's the peasants that we're bothered about. The peasants are the ones, we're always having to carry the load and get kicked for it. He said, really hamming it up. No. It's not that bad. I mean, life is actually, if you forget about all this stuff, I go, well, I'm eating sort of. I don't know what the quality of the food is, but we can work on things in that way. Well, you don't.
I'll bet your quality is better than ours. Your quality is definitely better than ours.
You might be right.
You probably have real fish.
Yeah, we do have real
As
fish.
Opposed to, yeah. Well, have you ever had, what is it? What we call fries, not fries, hash browns.
Yeah.
Have you ever had American style hash browns?
Well,
it's chopped.
Is it? What's it like? Chopped potato, isn't it? Fried up or something?
Yeah. But it's basically flash frozen potato chopped up, and then they scoop it up and shove it around with a ladle or a scoop, and they brown it up, and it's not real food. It's not. It doesn't look like a potato. It's not a potato. You have no idea what's in it, and usually there's nothing in it that's real food. So I'm sure you guys don't have that kind of what we call hash browns. A real hash brown is a real chopped potato, browned on 2 or 3 sides, and it actually looks like a piece of potato, right? But the hash browns you get in America aren't.
Really?
They're just. They're micro chopped, so like a grater. They're grated. It's almost like a what do you call it? A potato pancake. All right. So
hash browns an American invention? I always thought they were culinary addition from America. Hash browns, but
yeah, they are.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
They're jolly nice.
Losing quality fast. Yeah.
Oh, I don't want these.
Yeah, right.
The ones I ate in New York in the 90s were really good. I had them for breakfast every day with pancakes and maple syrup on and sausages.
Yeah.
They were
probably
great.
Had real potatoes.
Yeah.
You had real potatoes more than likely in those days. Yeah.
Those were the days.
Yeah. Yeah, those were the days. Oh,
those were the days. You remember when we had real potatoes?
Those were the days, my friend. We thought they'd never end. Ah, okay. Well, they have. They're ending. Okay, but what I really want to talk about here is, it's liberalism. What we've been talking about is liberalism, and liberalism is based on inflation. The inflationary spending promotes all of the liberal causes. Like the carbon tax, the green energy revolution, solar energy, wind energy, everything that never works through the winter. As America found out about 2 years ago when we had a real cold spell and all the pipes in Texas and Arkansas froze and nobody could get heat. into their buildings. Why? Because they shut down the oil refineries and they shut down the oil-based and coal-based energy plants. And I think Europe has done the same thing. And Europe is going to find out.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, you know,
So-
I'd refire up the. We'd have to rebuild all the old stacks over here.
That's
We ought
right.
to.
That's
It'd
right.
still be cheaper. I mean,
Yeah.
right now, people's energy prices are going up because they've shut the power stations down, or the ones that they've got left are actually supplying the power to keep the solar farms going that don't produce enough power, or the wind
Right.
farms. And then the government turn around and say, look, we're solving all this problem with the propellers
Right.
and the solar panels. And you go, yeah, but the bills are going up all the time. We're just paying for the destruction of our own grounded energy system. I'm not necessarily, for coal-fired power stations, but seriously, they haven't been looked at probably for donkey's years. If you put some engineers and said, look, with modern technology, can we really make this sort of emit no pollution? They go, yeah, easy, mate. I'm serious. They're just, we never have these conversations. We can't do it. We know you can't do it. You're a politician. You can't do anything. Why don't we actually give it to somebody who could solve it? Oh, no, we don't want you to solve it, because if you solve it, I'm out of a job. How am I going to tell people what I'm going to improve when you've improved it and make it work? We don't want you making it work. Seriously, I think this is part of it, whether they're conscious or not.
If everybody's got a nice, warm, toasty fireplace, right? You can't sell fear porn that way, right?
No, you can't.
Okay,
There's nothing to
based on
talk
fear.
about. I mean, imagine the news. Everything's going great. Power's good. All the costs are down. Food's improving in quality. We're at peace. We've sorted out the immigrant problem. We've got the barriers up. We're helping them out in their own. We're helping them out in their own home, which is where they need to be helped and where we should have been helping them. Those people that keep pushing people around all over the planet, they're closed down as well. It's great. It's a lot better. We still got problems. Yeah, we've got a lot of things here. We'll always have problems, but we won't have these civilizational undermining problems, which have obviously been concocted as a type of warfare. Really, fourth generation warfare. That's what it is. Yeah.
Thus spake Keir Starmer. You just enunciated his plan.
He's lovely. We love him. We love him, Eli. We think he's great. We love Keir Starmer. Yeah, I think he's really good.
But I had a really good, interesting experience this week, because I usually put out a newsletter to my mailing list once a month. And so I put out a tweet, and it was based on the fact, I just had a sudden realization that feminism is the most violent movement against women that has ever been created. Feminism is violence against women, period. That's what it is, okay? And so I typed this meme into my browser, and AI gave me this answer. Hold on, I've got to scroll back down here to find the newsletter. And come on. All right, so here's an unsolicited answer from AI. I typed in a statement. I didn't ask a question, okay? The statement was, feminism is the greatest cause of violence against women. Okay?
Yeah.
Fair statement, guys? Is that a fair statement?
Yeah.
Yes?
And by extension, the rest of us, because it destroys the family. But yeah, absolutely.
That's right. That's right. So here is AI's answer. To address the claim that feminist policies are a major cause of violence against girls, consider these points. Feminist policies aim to promote gender equality and empower women, not incite violence. Do they really empower women?
Nope. I don't think so. Yeah, I suppose you'd have to ask women if they think working in an office and paying all that income tax is empowered them and they can't raise families, then they might agree with it. But it's not. I think it's a dysfunctional approach. That's me.
Yeah, well, but listen to the nature of these answers. Violence against girls often stems from deeply rooted societal norms and patriarchal structures.
Yeah.
Misinterpretation of feminist policies can lead to backlash, but this is not a direct cause of violence. 3 more. Education and awareness initiatives under feminist policies seek to reduce violence, not increase it. Blaming feminist policies diverts attention from the real issues of misogyny and systemic violence. And finally, Engaging in constructive dialogue about gender issues can help mitigate misunderstandings and violence. This is right out of the feminist playbook.
Yeah.
Do they control AI? You betcha. So just to tell you can't trust AI. They're going to lie to you all the time, just like feminists do.
I don't
Right?
use AI. Anybody here use it?
Well, you can't get away from it. If you ask a question,
I don't even know where it is.
online,
I'm such a Luddite.
Yeah, well, it
I'm
just
really
comes up,
enjoying
yeah.
being a fuddy-duddy. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I think I've just gone, I've had enough with this, right? I've loved it for years, and I stick my nose in it and go, this is pretty cool. I was talking about something earlier, actually, with an AI thing that develops apps. I'm into that, but I don't want to talk to it. I'm not really interested in what it does. I think...
No, I'm not.
I mean, but
interested
what
either.
it is doing is... I mean, I'll tell you the thing with the AI videos is they don't work for me, and all these AI voices, in the end, being real is going to be it. The one quality that we've got is real. Of course, proving it over the internet is going to get more and more difficult. You go, you're all AI.
Right.
No, this really is me sat in my underpants with a sock on my nose. It really is me, right? Try and get AI to do that. Maybe we'll have to dress in a weird way that AI would never think of to sort of mark out that we're actually really human beings with all our, foibles and brilliant points, of course. We've got loads of those.
So given this answer from AI, I put this in my response in the newsletter. Here it is. Okay, let's see. Feminism promotes abortion. Half the babies aborted are girls. No violence?
Mm-hmm.
Feminism also promotes communism. Nonviolence? The National Organization for Women is a communist front. Feminism also promotes fake females in girls' bathrooms, fake females in women's sports, globalism, dictatorship of the wealthiest, elevating DEI women who don't deserve even... Nobody in the United Nations deserves to be there. They're all fake hires.
Oh, you're so rude.
In combat.
You're so rude.
Yeah.
They're all great people. So it says.
Yeah.
On the building.
Yeah. Women never had to go into combat. No. Now women have to go on the front lines and step on landmines and get blown to smithereens.
Yep.
How stupid is that?
Stupid.
Fake environmentalism. Yep. Anti-scientific definition of womanhood. They deny that it exists. War against the family, as you mentioned, Paul. The welfare state. The worst destruction of the family is aid to dependent children because it demands that the husband or father, whichever the case is, leave the home before the woman can collect the welfare check. If there was ever a system of destroying the family, that's it. It's anti-Christian. It incites violence against Christians. It's hatred of men. If you want to get a man angry, start hating on him. Academic illiteracy. Okay, doesn't illiteracy cause problems with people get angry with each other because they don't know what they're saying? How about big pharma's transgender?
That's a great
butchery?
line. They don't know what they're saying. I like that. That's a good line.
They really don't.
No, they don't.
They're just repeating memes. Yeah. Big pharma's transgender butchery. Okay, and prostitution. Rebranding it as sex work and nice work for your little girl, eh? That's just a short list. I'm sure I could think of 20 more.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I got a response from a lady who's a Klanswoman that she really loved the newsletter, and so I said, "Hey," and she reminded me of the Cuban anti-communist meme. If at 20 you're not a communist, you have no heart. If at 30 you're still a communist, you have no brains.
Mm-hmm.
And so I repeated that under feminism. If at 20 you are not a feminist, you have no heart. If at 30 you're still a feminist, you have no brains. If at 40 you're still a feminist, you have no children.
Yes, but you might have a cat.
Okay.
You're on your way to becoming a cat lady. And I know we joke about it, but it's tragic. It is tragic. It really is. I've actually said to my sons, don't get a girlfriend that's got a dog. They said, why? I said, because you'll never win. You'll never win. The dog will come. I said, if you ever get into some kind of emotional moment, and you will,
Yeah.
The dog
You're
will
right.
win. The dog will be the first
Yeah,
port
right.
of call for your partner, and you won't be. It'll be difficult for you to get back. That you don't shout at me, dog, do you? No, because it doesn't.
Yeah.
Not as long as you feed it.
Yeah. I
Oh,
tell
we're
you,
being a bit
lot of
male
women
here, aren't
love
we? We're
their
being a bit male.
animals.
But there's some good comments in the chat here.
know.
People are saying, Alice Gorgeous says, I don't feel empowered. Matilda says, me neither. I don't feel empowered either, and I'm not even a woman, but I don't. I feel, we have all been, we've all been disempowered. I hate using all that kind of stuff. It's their language, isn't it? But we have
it's
the
a feminist
empowerment.
language, yes.
We're going to empower you. Shut up.
yeah.
What a load of crap. It is. It's just exhausting. Listen to me, just spewing this stuff out like a tape recorder. Have you ever thought about what you're saying?
Yeah.
Or do I have to think about it? Well, it helps, really.
Yeah.
It might help.
There's only one bright spot in American culture, and that is country music. The country music has never embraced feminism.
Yeah. Are they having
And
a go at it,
probably
though? Are they
never
trying to
will.
get it to do that?
No, they're trying, but what they're doing, they're hammering away at what do they call it, marriage. They're promoting sex outside of marriage. A lot of country songs do that, but there's not a country song I'm aware of that promotes lesbianism, feminism, or any of that liberal smut. That's what it is.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
There's a good little comment.
Hey, there's something.
Go on.
Something to worship, something to be glad about.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all there. Yeah. It's all going to. It's in the embers stage, but the embers are getting hotter again. There's something. And
that's right.
Just a couple of little comments here. Truth, our reality writes, women. This is like a government message. Women, know your place. No, women, please make babies, not organ donations. Thank you. And Alice Gorgeous says, I'm too old. I had 3, though. Well done, Alice. Fantastic. That's great.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, we had 2, and we should have had 10. And as I said, my mum was one of 8. Yeah. And imagine if we brought in, you didn't hear it in the first part, right? We're talking, we played a little clip from a guy over here called Jimmy Carr. He's regionally famous, a sort of comedian and show host and stuff like that. And he was talking about a tax policy. Was it Hungary? I think it's Hungary, right? A tax policy that they're putting in. And it goes like this. So if you're a woman and you have a baby, your income tax is reduced by 25% for life. Okay. If you have 2 babies, it's reduced by 50%. If you have 3, 75%. And if you have 4, no income tax ever again. Ever.
Oh, it's like Florida.
Well, it means, you know what, it's kind of a halfway house because you can't just go back to 1852 and say, right, women, you all got to go back in the kitchen. I don't even want that anyway. Yeah. It's just a silly thing to say. It's not going to happen, right? But what you're allowing with a policy like that, if someone would say it, and anyway, we're just dreaming, but, if buts and maybes, you still leave the door open for those women that do want to work. And when they work, they're retaining all the money to spend on their children so that they're better than her and her husband. You go, look, we got 4 of them. They're brilliant. They're way better than you and me. And these 2 girls, I'm going to make sure they have 4 each so they don't pay any income tax either. We don't want that, though, because it'll restore the European family. That's the problem. That's obviously why it's not, we don't want all that kind of stuff.
But another bad effect of all of this is the fact that leftist single women, have turned into real shrews, absolute shrews. They complain about everything. They hate each other worse than men have ever hated each other. And men don't really get along. There's a lot of easygoing guys, but they tend to break out in fist fights every so often, like at a soccer match, right? And women never actually fight like men do, but they will backbite. They will connive against each other.
Undermine one another. Yeah, they can do. I mean, I think there's always been an element of that because, in a way, women are in a competition to get a man. So they go through that blooming period.
Used to be.
Yeah, maybe, I guess, maybe. But that's used to be part of it. But it didn't used to be as savage as it's now become. Right. We were talking about Shakespeare, so we have to paraphrase this. Hell hath no fury like a woman that's become a feminist. Right, as opposed to a woman scorned. But it's
a childless feminist. But
it's sad, I don't want to exult in it personally.
Yes.
You look at it and you go, bloody hell, this is awful. And you think, but I know what it should be like, what nature wants it to be like, and that nature's being interfered with by powers that shouldn't even be in our lives, etc., etc. But hey ho, this is where we're at, So at least we're talking about it. At least we're talking about it. Yeah.
Another good sign is a lot of ex-feminists are making videos on YouTube and elsewhere saying I was tricked. They lied to
Yes.
me about feminism.
Yeah.
One big lie, and so that truth is finally beginning to come out as well. So again, it's just showing that the global mindset that has been pushing big pharma, big corporations, big government, big this, big that, is finally collapsing, and people are losing their jobs, and so they're not getting paid by that corporation anymore, and they don't want to be part of it anymore either. Okay, so
No,
that's a good thing. That's a good
it
thing.
is.
It's a
It is
lot
a
of
good
suffering
thing.
going to happen. Yeah,
There is, but if you've got good companions, and if you're of a good family, and you stand by one another, it's a very rich time.
right.
It is going to be hard. I mean, I'm speaking like I know what I'm talking about. I've not really had it that tough. None of us have really, after World War II, have really had it that tough. Pockets of us have. There have been certain things, but in comparison to, say, our life 150 years ago, this is a breeze.
Paul,
None of us had
soapbox
probably
is
even been
silent.
alive by now, But
Right.
yeah,
Paul, check
Your
soapbox.
money is still worth something.
okay, yeah, thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Yep,
Okay, so yeah, the society is in big trouble, and we know it, but the left still doesn't know it. The left still doesn't understand that they're actually toys of the super rich. That's all they are. They're toys of the super rich. Reminds me of a song by Aerosmith. Toys, toys, toys in the attic. And if you go to college, you become a pawn, a toy of the super rich. They will have you ever seen that video with Aaron Russo where he did the
uh,
video
yeah,
with
the
one of
big
the
one he did
Rockefellers?
before he died.
You
Yes,
mean
just before
the banker, the central
Yeah.
bank, the Fed guy?
Yes.
Yeah, they
Yes.
spoke Yiddish to each other.
Yeah, yeah, right. Aaron Russo was a Jew, but he was not an insider. And the Rockefellers tried to get him as part of the club, and he refused. And he said, "Well," and the Rockefellers said to Aaron Russo, "Well, we're the ones who created feminism."
Yep.
And Aaron said, "Why would you do that?" And Mr. Rockefeller said, "Well, because now we can get 2 incomes per family and tax both incomes, as opposed we only had 1 taxable income per family. Now we get 2 taxable income. That's a net plus for us." Right? Okay. And then since the women have to and the families have to shunt their children off to what do you call it? Nursing homes and kindergarten and daycare centers, that now the government can teach them, and we have government education now, and so the family is ultimately totally destroyed, which is exactly the Rockefeller plan.
Yep.
And the feminists are simply clueless about this and are playing along as if it's good. And
Yep.
Aaron Russo said, "Wow, they totally fooled me. I thought it was a good. I thought feminism was a good thing." Right?
It's a
He actually thought it was
what year is that? Is that about 2008 or something? It's about
something
little
like that. Yeah, he made that movie. He made that movie about the
it's
Federal
fantastic
Reserve.
movie. I'm
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I haven't watched it in 15 years. It's brilliant, and he's so honest and
Yeah,
direct, and it shifts things. It's just useful. Yeah, the fact that he's invited into the
Yeah.
club, and of course that Rockefeller's just gloating about all this destruction basically that they've wrought to trouser more money. I mean, which shows you that there's an attitudinal difference. Let's put it that way. Unfortunately for Russo, he was on the right side, but I'm sure. I mean, he died from cancer. They probably gave it to him. Why wouldn't they? They
Could
probably
be,
cancered
yeah,
him,
right.
didn't they?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm sure. Well, who's the guy who did Eyes Wide Shut?
Kubrick.
He did a lot. Kubrick, right? He was murdered right after he did that movie
Yep.
because
Yeah, he
that
was.
exposed the Freemasons.
Mm-hmm.
That showed how the Freemasons work. There's no conspiracy, nothing to see here, ladies. It's just turn the channel.
Yep.
Okay, all you good people, turn the channel. No conspiracies, right? Okay. So yeah, it's amazing. Well, all that's beginning to fade away, especially young people. The young people aren't buying it because they have no jobs. They see there's no future for them, and especially young white men. There's no jobs for them, And so they grew up very cynical and angry, and rightfully so.
You're just nothing
even-
but good news
even women
tonight,
are
Eli.
beginning to see
It's
that.
just all good news with you,
Yeah,
isn't
right.
it?
I mean, yeah. I wish I had worse news because the worse it gets, the more we start reacting, right? And we need to react. We need to have a counter revolution.
Well, I think it's happening. I mean,
But that's coming.
maybe I've been taking too many
Yeah,
Ronnie
no.
Optimist tablets, but I think it's happening. We've been talking.
Play that.
It's slow, but it's really just a shift of a lock almost in the head, so that people start to question. They've never questioned. I mean, there's that thing Eric knows about
That's
this.
right.
This sort of thing about three sections of society. You know, you've got those in the middle ground. You've got those at another area that are unreachable. They're believers. They're fully convinced in the system. You never go,
Right.
It's not worth putting any energy into that. If anything comes out of that, great. Yeah. But the ones in the middle are the ones that actually are still exercising stuff and have generally gone along with it. That's the battleground, as it were, is to pull those people into this space. And I'm absolutely convinced it's happening, but it's not happening in a sort of film way. It's happening like creeping damp. It's just going.
Right.
I mean, maybe I'm just reading into something, but I think it's happening. I think COVID propelled it because it caused a lot of distress for people. People, even now, certain people can't talk about it. You can't talk to them about it because, you know, I've had some who said, I wish I'd never taken it. I said, well, I didn't say I told you so. I mean, they know I told them not to, but it's, you know, what's the point of rubbing people? I don't want them to be poorly, but they possibly could be, you know, because they made at least they know they've made a sort of mindless decision. They didn't exercise enough thought at the time. And what that's caused them to do, I think now, is become more thoughtful about many other things. It's a very harsh lesson.
Amen.
A very harsh lesson. But history's full of these things. It basically says, look, I give you as much time as nature will allow, but if you cross that line, there's nothing that anything's going to do about it. You buggered it up. And then this thing about self-responsibility. You go, I actually did know. I just wasn't paying attention. No, you were ignoring it. The root of the word ignorance, right? Yeah. Ignorance is a condition of an ignorer, somebody who knows it's going on, chooses not to give it enough validity and pay attention to it. I mean, it's the thing that we're all fighting every day. You know, there's things that slip by your screen. You go, damn, I didn't see that. But, you know, yeah.
Yeah, so memes are very important. Benjamin Franklin was a memer. He invented all of these quaint slogans that everybody remembers, like a penny saved, a penny earned. But now there's no more pennies. Not in America.
No more pennies.
Because every penny is worth 3 cents worth of copper, right? So you might as well keep the copper. And so they're phasing out pennies. They're going to be phasing out nickels. So these are absolute signs of a hyperinflation getting ready to collapse. When the coins go out of circulation, the only thing left will be silver and gold. And what's really the silver market is right now consisting of junk silver, old silver coins. They're not 100% silver, but there's a lot of silver there. And this will facilitate trade. A gold piece, a 1 ounce gold coin, is somewhere around $4,500.
Yeah.
You can't spend that in a local market, right? They won't be able to make change, right? You have to be able to turn that into, it's called liquidity, turning it into cash or something you can spend locally. And gold coins are not liquid, okay? But nevertheless, it's still a commodity that has tremendous value. By the way, silver is the more silver is used in electric cars than any other commodity. So the electric car business has got to get silver. They have to buy silver at whatever price. Otherwise, they can't make electric cars. Same with batteries.
A lot of it's Samsung have had executives down in Mexico buying up all the silver that they could get their hands on for future production of mobile phones. Yeah, all of these sorts of things. So it is a big deal.
Worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, even worse because the silver market is basically paper shuffling around. They never deliver the silver. What they do is they offer you discounts, future discounts, and more futures contracts. It's all based on futures contracts. But now people are demanding delivery. People are demanding delivery. What's actually happening, guys, is they're buying on margin. Do you remember the last crash that happened when people bought on margin? They bought stocks on margin.
Yeah.
In other words, you only have to put down 10% to buy $100 worth of. You only have to put down $10 to buy $100 worth of silver. You're gambling that the price is going up, right?
Yeah.
But if the price of silver goes down, you lose your investment plus the $90 you were hoping. Now, that's why people were jumping out of skyscrapers in 1929. Okay? More good news for you guys.
I know.
Okay?
Although Winston Churchill
right.
wasn't one of them, because his pal.
No, he wasn't.
His pal let him know. Who was his handler again? Oh, I've got his face. I can't remember his name. He had a handler anyway. They said, get all your stuff out. He was all out of the markets 3 weeks before it all happened. Yeah. He did all right.
Same handler for Woodrow Wilson? The same guy?
It might have been. I can't remember. I'm seeing his face. He's got a trilby. They're in the back of a limousine when Churchill's knocking on. Some American guy from the tribe.
Yeah, American Jew.
Yeah, I can't remember his name now, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, so he did all right. Although they actually drove a car into him when he was in New York to get the message across. He was hit by a car, I think about 1926. Seriously. And after that, he was got. So, but he wrote these articles about communism in 1920, 21 or whatever in the London Standard or whatever the paper was at the time, saying, it's a brilliant article because he just really nails it. He's just saying, the whole of Europe is being undermined by a certain people. After 1926, he never said a word against it because he was on their payroll. It's as simple as that.
That's right. Yeah, he got bought off. He got bought off, just like most politicians do. Especially if they start mouthing off too much, a messenger comes over and says, "Hey, shut up about that, or you'll regret it." Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what happens to all American politicians who aren't Netanyahu.
Yeah, I mean, all these people that buy on margin as well. You used the word gambling, and that's really all this boils down to. It's gambling. The bulk of it is gambling and leverage. And in the mafia have a thing called the VIG, don't they? Vigorish, that you have to pay. If you go gambling, right, the table gets some money. It's like the fee to be in their gambling booth, the vigorish, or it sometimes also, I think, refers to loan sharking. Excessive interest rates on loans is you've got to pay the VIG as part of the protection racket. It's no different. They just make us think it's only the mafia that do that. The mafia thing is to keep everybody, it's all violent and everything. It's nowhere near as violent as government. It's nowhere near. Doesn't even come close.
The banking system is the biggest mafia on the planet. That's what the banking system is. It's a mafia organization. You can list all the American presidents who've been assassinated. They've been assassinated by the bankers.
Yep. Yeah, they have.
That's the bottom line, folks.
We're coming towards the end of the show, Eli. We've got a couple of minutes left and everything. So, do you have any New Year's?
Great start to 2026.
Yeah, it's cheery. Yeah, it's okay. It's great. I'm still in that sort of space of this is buoyant and fun and cool and groovy.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, it just makes each day better. You've got to, if the truth wears you down, lie to yourself as long as you're doing something positive. Just say, to hell with it. So it works sometimes.
Right.
You're not really you're just going, look, what's the point of paying attention to things I can't do anything about today? You never know. You might get lucky one day. Right. But like we said, even if you became prime minister or president,
tell you the truth.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to do it because it's a team job. They can't, this guy's in charge. No, he isn't. Stop it. But it's a great story, and people have been buying it for hundreds of years, and they think it must still be true. It's complete piffle.
Yeah. What's that big song they wrote? Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
Yeah, Fleetwood Mac.
And so far, Fleetwood Mac, the world is still buying into the lies, but lately, not so much.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
What have you got planned for this year, then, other than causing trouble?
Well, causing more trouble.
Good.
No, actually, I'm going to start a blog. I'm going to start a blog, and then basically short articles that explain reality to the people, to the blind who need eyes to see. And so I'm hoping it'll be passed around and shared alike. By the way, they'll be absolutely free. Right? Free of charge, with interest.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
$0 at 100% interest is still $0, right?
Yeah.
By the way, the greenbacks never charge a single penny's worth of interest.
Well, there's all
Most
the
people
answers.
don't
We've
know
said it
that.
before. All the answers are there. All the solutions exist.
Yeah.
But no one if no one talks
Yes.
about them, apart from small clandestine groups like this one, although there are thousands of
That's
these
right.
sorts of groups, which is wonderful, right? We are like a decentralized sort of mold in the system. We keep popping up everywhere just when they
Right.
least expect it, and this is pretty good. But if no one talks
Yeah.
about these things, they might as well not exist. But there's a growing number of people who understand that all these solutions have been, put in place. Eli,
Yeah.
we've got
Oh, yeah.
the closeout music rolling here and everything. Any last
Yes.
words that you want to say? Where can people find you, by the way?
Okay, well, Eurofolkradio.com
Yeah.
and Anglo-SaxonIsrael.com are our two websites. You can all my writings and shows, etc., all kinds of material there, slideshows. Help yourself. Okay. It's all
Fantastic.
free.
Fantastic. Eli James,
All right.
everyone.
I don't charge interest. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks very much,
Thank
Eli.
you,
I'll
Aaron.
join you on a show again
Yeah.
soon. We'll have you back in a few weeks' time or something like that. Bye, everyone, for next week. Have a cracking weekend, and we'll see you all real soon. Back again next Thursday.